If you understand this, what I just said in its context, you will understand that it's your obligation as a businessman to ensure that you make a profit from your dealings, from your contracts, from whatever you are doing. Now, I don't care as a businessman. I don't care whether you're going to make a profit or not. I'm only looking at my own profit. Now, if I enter into a contract with you, I'm going to look at if this is going to benefit me and my team. If it's not going to benefit me and my team, I'm going to say, okay, no, this is not going to benefit me and my team. The other guy does not also care. He's the one to know, okay, if I, for example, if I bought a phone of maybe $1,500 and then I want to sell it for like, I want to sell the phone. I say, okay, I want to put this phone for like, sell this phone for at least 1,700. I want to make $200 profit. The guy I'm selling it to does not know. He's not interested how much I bought the phone. He also wants to make a profit. So if I don't do a good deal with him, I might run at loss. You see that? That's the whole world for you.
The question now, why are they not making good deals?
Because they are playing their games and we are not playing our own games. That's the point here. We're not playing our games. We are just giving whatever they ask. Think about, let's look at Niger. Niger, for example. Now, Niger's Ukrainian is selling at 200 euro on the international market.
Let me explain this way, right? We are a people where we've got people with courage. We've got people with integrity. We've got people with good, who are good leaders, who have great love, who have great love for their
country. For which country?
Let me finish now. But they are never anywhere close to the seat of power. They are never anywhere close to the seat of power. And that is because the worst of us, have been enabled to have the resources to be able to go for the seat of power. They have made politics in our countries, our own people who have been installed. They've made policies that to govern us, to live in a country like that is suicidal. Then we have those people being recycled year in, year out to hold the helms of affairs in our own country. For those who are willing to come and do the right thing, if they manage to get in, they look for how to buy them. Or those that are trying to get in, if they try to either buy them or they try to make it difficult for them, like we are in right now. So, with this argument that we are talking about, the worst of us that have been enabled and empowered to be in a position of power to continue to keep us down, to make the wrong decisions, the wrong choices, to empower us, to put good roads, to make good hospitals, to put good schools. All we don't have because of the quality of leaders that have been put in a position to empower us. And as a result, the country is cancerous. The country is corrupt, decadent, is dirty, it's like a rotten peach. So, how do we turn that around?
How? You take responsibility for that.
You, the people, that is where we are right now. Who is coming and take responsibility? The only person that is doing it, that is pushing to the global stage, is the David Hundeyin that we are seeing that is pushing. So how are we going to do it when we refuse to go on the streets? How are we going to do it? People of Niger have succeeded in getting that because the power, the military have enabled them. How can we do it without those resources? How can we do it without those resources? And even those that are in Niger, the reason why their backbone is Russia. So exactly. How are we going to do it? We are sitting down here and we are saying it is the worst of us that is controlling us. They don't have any scruples
to get out
they
of
go to the highest bidder. It is the worst of us that is controlling us. So already we know that they are rotten eggs. We don't expect anything good from them. So who do you turn to say, look at these corrupt people that are putting corrupt people in to rule me? These evil people putting evil people to rule me.
I think the people themselves, once they start changing from the point of view that they start making proper demands of their leaders, and the leaders too change, you will start seeing that the opportunity
right
starts
now,
arriving.
We are in that critical space right now, where we are trying to make demands of our leaders, where we are trying to push back, but they are not staying down. They are also pushing us back.
Yeah, they are fighting back.
They are doing everything they can within their own power. The only way is if all 2 million of us, 200 million of us, go out on the streets, then they cannot buy all of us. But if 2 people, 10 people, 1 million,
Madam,
100,
can I interject you? You know why we are not pushing back? You know why we are not pushing back? It is because most of us are selfish in terms of idea.
That is it.
See, now I make from the day we started this election, I made mention of one thing. I said we don't have the structure. Our system we don't have. People argue with me. If we collectively agreed that we need to change the system that will favor us and make us equal.
Black Panther, how can we change the system?
If we speak with one voice, not when we are talking, yes, the system. Somebody say, no, you can put a good man in the system. It will work. It depends on the man that is put there.
Where we are right
it's
now.
Not going to work.
A good man in the system. We are trying to put a good man in the system. So how do we put
the system? Not working with the system.
So who are those working with the system? Is it not the select few that are rotten to the core that will go the other way? People like them.
Yes, some of us here has been working with the system.
Sorry?
We don't want to create our own system. What I mean by a system, we don't have a constitution written by us.
So, I'm confused.
Can I add something? I think the patterns, we know how this is done. There is no mystery to this. There's really no mystery to this. If there was, I would be really, really despondent or kind of sad right now. But the playbook is already there. And it's just, you know that most of the sub-Saharan African countries, in other words, black countries, they don't have any military alliances impact and anything. They don't have it. If you look at the list of military alliances in the world, we are not present. You know the only ones that are present, the ones that happened 2023 between Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. That is the only time any black nation has said, you know what, if somebody attacks you, we're all in it together. That is the only time. We have ECOWAS, but guess what ECOWAS does? ECOWAS says, when we have problems to solve, and maybe supported by UN and everything, we bring our soldiers together and we go and act. But they never try to protect themselves. Because why? What Adewale said, which was Prince Adewale, a former presidential candidate, he said that because when he was having the discussions that they are saying that it's the Francophone countries that are causing it, the military brass. You see, this is a problem with our people. We don't have any way of protecting ourselves. We don't have any strong alliances. Because all the other countries that got out of it, even Israel, I couldn't believe when I read it that Israel had to have an alliance with South African regime to protect their interests because they couldn't even buy weapons. Israel couldn't buy weapons in the open market. So they had to work with the South African regime. They are the one that supplied South Africans the nuclear technology that the South Africa had. And they built their security from there. Now look at Israel from today. The same thing China did. All the other countries. China even had this in a defense. Okay, that's Taiwan had a defense agreement with this in America to protect that. You have to have alliances, strong, not just all these petty alliances. What we did was many black countries, they told us, oh, just stay in non-aligned movement. Non-aligned movement means you are dead in the water. You just stand still and wait for the others to be forming big alliances. And when they have finished their forming, they come and destroy you. That is exactly what tends to happen. And all the countries that form alliances, just check the list. You'll be shocked how those ones are the ones prospering. If you look at the UK, one alliance after the other, they will have another one. America, Israel, Egypt, they just keep having alliances. They are protecting each other. But
look at the way Africans
no
are
African
doing.
country is even on the board, apart from Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. Today, this year, that's when that happened. Can you believe
Now,
that?
look at the way African countries are doing. Look at North Korea. You know that the whole world, they've sanctioned North Korea. What should African countries, what should they have done? Is to look for how to form an alliance with North Korea, because that's how they're going to make profit.
God bless you, sir. God bless
This is how
you.
America make profit around the whole world. They will go and meet your enemy and do business with your enemy and make a lot of profit.
Not
Then
even
African
one
countries,
country
they
decide to
join
go to North Korea, say,
America,
let me
join
find a
the
but the
strong
thing
countries,
alliance
is,
with them.
sanction North Korea.
but have you asked yourself, why can we not make those alliances? Because we'll be threatened with sanctions. We'll be threatened if your leader is very
Nobody's going to threaten you with sanction. Forget that one.
Not now, anyway. Not at this
them very
moment.
well.
Now, this is why this time is an opportunity. It's an opportunity now to do it. But before now,
and why
they
is
are
there
more
an
like to do
opportunity
something against you.
Why is there an opportunity?
You know why Africa is afraid? Let me say this one
because
thing.
the
they
rise
know
of China,
what is
Russia,
happening in the
and
world
India.
now.
because they know Russia is an option to go.
See, brothers, you know what? You know why I said we should all go and listen to African leaders delivering their speech in the UN. What is making Africa to be afraid is because Africa have not annexed itself, and Africa has not come together to break this barrier too dependent on one particular section of the world. Africa has not been able to trade within
your audio
itself.
is going in and out. It looks like you're going away from your mic.
Can you get me now?
Yeah.
Africa has not been able to trade among themselves, to look at their strength, to look at their weakness. But we are just being subjected because we have not annexed our own self, and we have not annexed what is in the resources of the land.
Who is subjecting us?
We subject ourselves, and they are pressing on us.
Who is subjecting us? Who is pressing on us?
It's because our leaders are corrupt. You see, when you steal,
and we are afraid of anybody.
It's because our leaders are corrupt. When they steal anybody. Okay, now if you go and check, the politics of the world, and you're aware that
our leaders are not fit.
Are you aware that only Swiss Bank is not allowed to be probed? Are you aware of that? Swiss Bank.
Yes.
In the whole world. Yes. The only bank that is not allowed to be probed. So now think about that. Who is keeping money in the Swiss Bank? Who is keeping money there? Is it me? Or is it you? It's African. and they intentionally made a law that Swiss Bank cannot be probed. Wow.
Sorry. Hello.
Yeah. We can hear you.
Swiss Bank, like what I was saying, Swiss Bank cannot be probed. And go and check all the leaders of African leaders. That's where they keep their money. Because can you show me what Swiss is producing that is benefiting you and I? Is there anything?
They've got nothing. It's just the banking industry.
Good. So whose money are they spending?
There are many industries that are not being probed now. There are so many levels of society that we are not aware of. They are almost above the law.
Our African leaders, their own money is not even what is really funding that. No, there is a bigger fish to fry. That is they know why they've set it up the way they've set it up.
And is it by coincidence that Tinubu has disappeared now for how many days? And the day he arrived in France,
he's on vacation in France.
Let me finish the point. The day he arrived in France, the day he arrived in France seems to be the day the French soldiers announced that they were going to be leaving the country. And you know what I said? I've said it before on my channel that there is an opening window right now for our leaders and our people to break out of the control of these people. And when the French incident occurred, I said the things that our leader need to do is to negotiate these people out of the continent now. If they don't do it now, they may never get another chance again. And if you look at it, America actually threw them under the bus. The British threw them under the bus too. So what should Tinubu do next? Tinubu should be demanding that they leave the continent and remove some of all those oppressive policies that they have against Francophone countries. But what he may have gone there and do now, God knows what he's doing there. Guess what they said? I don't know whether it was on this channel. They were arguing that he's there negotiating strategic stuff, which to me is not surprising. The question is, what is happening? Is it make believe stuff that they are doing? Because the French, they surround our country. They are in Niger. They are still in Niger right now. They are in Benin Republic. They are in Cameroon. They are in all Francophone countries. It's like, how did we allow this to happen? And our people don't tell us.
That's an invasion of the continent.
They invaded us.
Mr. Tunaja, I told you one thing one day when we were discussing here. I told you that France has a diplomatic or maybe economic issue with America, and the French president came out boldly to put America down that carpet. And American President Biden was really mad with him. That is why when this was going on in Africa, I knew, because I made that statement, that America is not too, now they have a sort of lacuna with France in their relationship. As you can see now, America has thrown them under the bus.
That's European tribalism for you now. The Anglo-Saxons are covering their own backside and throwing the French under the bus. This is always the game. You have to know how they behave among themselves. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, concerning the French neocolonialism in Africa, using Niger as case point. So Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, did mention at some point that African countries, especially the Francophone countries, are lame. They are impotent and they cannot govern themselves. The statement he made was quite outrageous and ridiculous, but if you look at it from another angle, it is correct. These countries, the French left them handicapped. Their whole reasoning, revolves around France. They don't know much about the United States. They don't know much about the UK, Australia, about other countries, Germany. They only think, France, and they only think French, and that is why you see that every average young Senegalese, Ivorian, Malian, who want to go to France. And when they get to France, they will just not get to the top political and economic positions. They may just end up playing football, maybe basketball or what's not. So France will be trying to create the impression, that they are not racist. See our football team, they are all made up of Black players, both the male and female teams. So back to Africa, you mentioned something about forming alliances. I think for Nigeria, it's even premature to talk about alliances because we need to solve our problems first. And the reason why France is in every Francophone country surrounding us is that Nigeria has not lived up to expectation. If Nigeria had lived up to expectation, we will have our military manning those bases, manning, Niger Republic, Chad, Cameroon, Benin Republic, Togo as well. So we have not lived up to expectation. For now, forming alliances should be the least, in our priority. So we should get things right first in our country: rule of law, the judiciary, electoral process, freedom of information.
Don't you think you should speak from evidence of history? Because you have to check what other nations did too.
Yes, you may need to emulate some countries like India. Bangladesh is really doing well now, and if they continue like this, probably in the next 10 years, they may get out of this quagmire that they are currently in. now. So we may emulate from them. There are different sectors of the economy, and then each sector will look for a country that has gotten it right. If you talk about the creative industry, we are doing so well, but we need to, like, we need someone that would come with the right mentality, the right character, that will turn things around, and then we could be able to generate foreign remittances and foreign exchange from this from the creative industry and sports, as well, the movie industry. Some countries like Slovenia, they did some reforms in the education sector at some point, and they've really gotten it right. We could emulate them. So there are different sectors, really. No one country has got it all. So we could emulate those countries that have gotten it right in each sector. So then, if you are talking about the African Union, I think David Hunde mentioned in one of his interviews that the African Union, is a very laughable institution, because I think more than 60% of funding comes from the European Union. So the African Union cannot fund itself. I don't think they're contributing up to 20% of the funding. I think 10% or so. So he that pays the piper dictates the tune. So because we can't fund ourselves, the European Union will always dictate the tune. In fact, before the election, we didn't even have money to conduct the election, to fund the election. It was the European Union that came to our aid. So there are so many things that we need to get right. If we have a credible institution like in Africa, and some sub-regional, sub-regional institutions, then we can, start making progress from there.
See,
if you look at ECOWAS,
Samir, see, we have sub-regional organizations. You can't even make it up. It's almost like they deliberately decided that we are going to form it, but we're going to form it to be useless.
Because
ECOWAS should have
before
been
the Niger coup,
pact, but they didn't make it one. They left it loose so that they can just still remain useless.
You see,
before the Niger coup, nobody was hearing, from the so-called ECOWAS, no economic direction, nothing, just the Niger coup, and they just want to invade Niger to satisfy their paymasters in France and the US. So after the Niger issue now, the whole ECOWAS noise will just die down. So it's a lame organization, to be honest. Yeah.
See, does anyone know? Let me just add this trivia question, because I thought I knew some things about it. Turns out I'm not educated enough. Does anyone know the most populated city in the world?
It's Tokyo, isn't it?
I don't think. I think between.
It's Tokyo, Japan.
City, we are talking between Cairo.
It's Tokyo, Japan. The capital of Japan, Tokyo, is the most popular city in the world.
No, not at all.
I think between Mexico City, Cairo, and
now you can't even talk about Cairo, because in Africa, Lagos is the most popular city, and Egypt is in Africa.
It also that I was shocked beyond belief when I found out about it was Chongqing, a city in China. And if you see this city, my God, I think we don't know the world. I think just because we think we do.
What is the
this
population?
City is 33 million. 32 million right now. They on 32 million. That is bigger than many countries in one city. There are trains going through houses. The city has so many layers that you will be on the ground floor, but you look down, it's 15 stories down still. It's some crazy stuff. When I saw it, I was like, okay, I thought I knew stuff. I didn't know anything. And this is what they have blinded us to. what is going on in the world. This is why China uses 10 times more cement. Uses more cement than America uses in 10 years, in 1 year. That is why, if you look at that city, you will be shocked what human beings were able to do. This is a country that was languishing, that they lost 50 million people in 1960 something, 50 something to 60 something. And look at them today, what they've been able to do when people mean business. Unbelievable. 60 something, 30 something million people, larger than some countries in one city.
Yes. You see,
what I wanted, my mouth was open.
On this issue of ECOWAS, what I wanted to say is this. I always I blame our leaders for this. To copy somebody, if you see something good, you copy it. I don't think it's a crime. It's not a sin. You copy.
Yeah.
But the thing is, probably African leaders, they wanted to copy, let's just say, EU. If you want to copy EU to be AU to be EU, why not behave like, not just really behaving like them, copy the good things they are doing? For instance, immigration. Why it is difficult for some African countries to get visa to get into another African country, but EU is making their own visa, just travel. I don't think Norwegians need visa to come to UK. I don't think the Sweden, Finnish people need visa to go to Spain. I don't think the Spanish need visa to get to Russia. I don't think so.
Sorry, the Norwegians may need visa.
Pardon?
The Norwegians may need visa because the UK is no longer part of the European Union.
It might not be visa. It might just be. I don't think they can.
No, it's visa, really. Even the UK people use visa to go to all these other places now.
Because what I'm saying is, okay, this might be recent, because what I'm saying this is that they do it in a way to help their economic integration and then to be able to trade with each other. But when we Africans copy what the West are doing, let us, if we want to, because it's good, that's why we want to copy it. Let us copy it and then play the politics they play with it. That is where I'm against. Okay, now they have NATO. Can't we have people forgotten that we have Africa High Command. Have we forgotten? That's what they call Africa High Command as an organ of AU. Africa High Command, whereby Africa will move their troops, and not like an attack on one after. I think whether it's an attack on one African nation and an attack on the other. I don't know that depth, but they have Africa High Command. Just like you say NATO for the EU and then the US. So, but the thing is, we don't seem. That's why sometimes I blame most times, not really sometimes. Leave the West. Whatever they are doing is for their own interest. What is the interest of an African? What unites somebody from Congo and somebody from Egypt? We are Africans. Can't we have something in common? Can't we say we are doing this just to, even as long as
don't you see what they make us?
They don't want to be part of Africa. It's only when it financially benefits them.
Egyptians are not ready yet until we as a people decide to do what we need to do to develop. If they see us being serious, they will start looking inwards.
No, but then it's still part of the argument that we Africans, as long as it benefits us, let us forget about the West. Let it benefit us. But we are not doing it. But the West will do this to benefit themselves.
Without this country, without resetting Nigeria, Africa will never get it right. Nigeria has so much influence on other African countries. So much. A lot of people don't know this. Until Nigeria actually get it right, other African countries may try, but Nigeria will be their stumbling block. We always bring them down because they have too much influence on some other African countries.
I'm telling you, man. That's why I always encourage our people to really look at the world for what it truly is. Study more. Every day, I'm still being surprised. I'm telling you, some things I'm seeing. It's like we still our eyes are not open yet to what the world truly means. But in the reality, in terms of us getting out of it, we know what needs to be done. we have to now start thinking about who is our friend. And in short, don't pick your friend. Say what you want. And
in your
the
interest.
one that want to give it to you.
It's your interest that
Yes.
will determine.
Whoever wants to give it to you,
Just look at it. For
you go
example,
for
the
them.
whole world sanction North Korea, and we know that North Korea does not produce oil. That's supposed to be an opportunity for African countries like Nigeria that produces oil, because you want to make profit.
Exactly.
An opportunity for you.
But I think
You want
North
to make
Korea
profit.
is having some kind of input into Niger, actually. I think there was some information coming through that North Korea is supplying Niger some technology or something like that. That's what
Yeah,
I
I
heard.
heard that because North Korea also need the uranium. You understand what I'm saying? So that's
Yeah.
what I'm talking. They also need the gas and uranium.
And
Now
they need
that
customers.
is an
They need
opportunity for
customers
Nigeria
to buy their weapons.
to strike a deal. You don't make enemies with people just because the Western world have some enemies, so you also take those people as your enemy. That's not the way. Do you really think America cares who is your enemy? They going right there to do their business to benefit their people. They don't care whether you have enemies with. They don't care.
That's why America will come to you and tell you that you should be democratic. They don't be democratic. But they go but they can't challenge Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is not democratic yet. They do whatever they want and even give them protection. So our people should learn. That's what I'm saying. I believe every leader will just say, look, I agree. I heard what you said.
You know why they're afraid? You know why most of our leaders are afraid? They are afraid of blackmailing. That they're gonna say, "Oh, you kept money, it's just so back." American media, CNN, those kind of stuff. They know how to do those things. If you don't follow what countries say, blow your
I really think that some people need to. I think I'm going to do a video about this Chongqing, man. This is something. This is a wonder of the world, and nobody knew. I didn't know about this. Is great. They said this city, you could miss your traffic. That's when you are going through the roundabout. If you miss your turn, it may take you 24 hours to get back to where you were before. That's how crazy the place is. They build ground floor on top buildings. They build petrol station on top buildings. It's like, this is madness. This is a miracle of the world.
Exactly, but you must factor something in to remember their population is that so massive, so they have to utilize
to build in such an organized manner, that is crazy.
So regarding common markets, there is a mistake that people usually make, which is quite common. The common market, by whichever name it goes, maybe ECOWAS, maybe African Union, that market must not have all the African nations in it, must not encompass everyone, so some countries can come together. For example, now, if Nigeria gets it right tomorrow, so they could form a common market with some countries, say Ghana, say Namibia, say Kenya. So those the market must not be limited to a particular zone. So they can form a common market, because for you to have a common market, there must be some policies and guidelines that those countries agree on. They must agree on, if, for example, they want to practice electoral democracy, they must be on the same page regarding that. Otherwise, because you cannot say, oh, let all the African countries, be made visa free to Africans. No, countries like Namibia that have gotten it right, they are doing so well economically. Countries like Seychelles, they cannot open their country to Somalians. They cannot open their country to Nigerians or Malians. Those people, excuse me.
I disagree.
So because those people actually have plans for their citizens. They know their population. Everybody is catered for.
One moment,
so
please. I disagree. Even if you make your country visa free to anybody, when they come, the law of the country is supreme. If you break the law, you pay. You pay what you. I mean,
And,
you pay.
no,
So
you have to make.
No. I come in. You come in. It's free. Africans, we move around. It doesn't mean that when you make it free, criminals will just come and hijack your account. No. Unless you don't know what you're doing. Your law is your law. When you come, you obey the law. When Britain was in EU, people move around from Germany to the. But when you come and break the law, you pay so you don't use it to say because of the economy. What
So
if it changes tomorrow?
why did they leave?
No.
Why did they leave the European Union?
See, Britain leaving European Union was purely propaganda of what is this man called Nigel Farage.
Boris Johnson. People voted.
Listen now, I'm coming. When you vote, and you know that now they regretted it.
Who is regretting it? The Scottish people, of course. They voted to remain.
See, listen, let me tell you.
Well, if you want to know why if you want to know why Britain, why they were in the European Union before, you have to figure out why they actually decided to stay in European Union in the first place.
See, they regretted leaving because it affects, since they left. If you check 26th June 2016, the day they voted, or 22nd June, around that time, the pound used to be 1.5 to the dollar. Since then, the pound has never crossed 1.4. Somebody can take me up on this. Since then, they've been having it. And Obama came here to tell David Cameron when they invited them. He said, if you leave, Britain will go at the back of the queue because America will negotiate their trade deal with EU, which is almost 500 million people, than you that is less than 70 million or maybe less than 70. Obama said it openly here, and they know it. So
I think CM, what happened with Obama is that Obama and the Trump side, let's say Democrats and Republicans are more tribal and more racial than Obama's side. Obama's side is about maintaining America's hegemony. That's to a global one. But while the Trump side, they just want the Anglo-Saxons to control the world. This is why that's why he was for the UK leaving the EU, because he doesn't care about the EU. All he cares about the UK and their people doing better than anything else. So that's the competition that they are having within the West themselves. That's why sometimes you need to see their own tribalism going on a little bit there. That's what's going on. But you are right about the currency, and if you think about it, globally speaking, it's a terrible idea for the UK to leave the EU, isn't it? So, but from the point of view of Africa, what do you think? I think it's not a bad idea, because the more disorganized they are, the better, isn't it?
The better for us. But then, my point before this one, what was saying was, what Africans, I always say this, because we are saying Namibia can be, because of the economy is this, Namibia they shouldn't do open border or visa free to every African country. No, it doesn't. Those countries like Somalia, remember, when you do open this thing, there are opportunities in Somalia because their government is in disarray. They may not know how to utilize what they have. They're only interested in me fighting you. But what if we said Africans were free to move around? There are skills, I believe, that's what they call crossing border, crossing border. Like Nigerians may decide to jackpot. You may say, look, I think the best place, instead of going to UK or giving, let me go to Namibia or Rwanda. Let me go to Ethiopia or Kenya. Let me go to South Africa. Let me go to Angola. People will start experimenting. Some people may even say, look, Nigerians, look, I'm coming. Somebody may say, why are Nigerians even running away? Look at the type of land. Let us go there and establish a mechanized farming to help the people. A South African businessman can decide, maybe 2 or 3, can decide, let us even come here and do farming. So the thing is that you might never know the opportunity that exists until you leave it open. Because I believe that one thing, when the push comes to the shove, an American, white American will favor a Norwegian than favoring a black American. I believe so. I may be wrong.
So the questions that I want to ask you, 2 questions. Do you like the fact that people from Niger Republic, they are free to come to Nigeria in droves, in their thousands and millions. They had one, two.
No, wait, hold on. Yes, let him
why can't you guys just talk about what's going on in Nigeria alone? Can you go from south to north of Nigeria and establish a business and do well as a South African?
In ECOWAS, there is free entry and exit, among the member nations. What have we benefited from that? So when we are talking about a common market, it is not just about
let me answer your question. Do you know until you get somebody from Uganda, I think it's called a Ugandan, when we discussed, that was the day I wept. Do you know that Nigeria is a shame? I'm not talking of population. I'm not talking of resources, because when people discuss Nigeria, they talk of oil, gas, everything. I'm talking of talent, brains. Do you know that it's a shame that Nigeria is not taking advantage of what is around us?
My mind is blown. I see. CM, hold on, please. Sorry about that. Hold on. I know you were saying this in a very pertinent point. See, this thing, we really need to get our act together. I'm really getting worried for us. You see, Fumi in the chat is saying that she saw the building. Today, as I sit here today, I'm beginning to think that China is actually the superpower of the world, not America. They've actually overtaken America in their capacity to advance. Some of the things these people have done, we've not seen them. They never really show. They just show us Beijing and a few places. These guys are building something crazy out there. And when you look at their capacity to build and the kind of engineering involved, the scale, America has never done that. None of the Western countries have ever done that. The scale is out of control.
Why you are saying that is because you live in the UK and you speak only English. I doubt if you have been to Germany.
Germany is relatively this. If you go to the US, the most complicated city you find there is probably New York. But if some of the things China has built, it makes New York look like a Lego toy. These guys are building astounding. Their bridges are out of control.
For China to reach
Look closer. Look closer. That's how you know. If you know technology, that's how you know a country that is advancing faster than any other group.
It's advancing fast, but not up to the US.
If you notice, America have a very log with China. There's a reason for that, because there's a fight. Let me say this now. Maybe you don't know. There's a fight for the licensing of 5G between America and China.
Huawei. See, what they are worried about is that China is trying to dominate everything right now, and because they see what is going on in China, they know China is outpacing them. I knew that years ago that Asia is advancing faster than the West. The West is slowing down. They are busy talking about LGBTQ. Why those ones are just building and building and building, and sooner or later, if you look at the scale,
what do they have in the West? What do
not
they have?
much anymore.
They are mostly service economies.
They have organization. See, they have organization and management. That's what they have.
I guess so. Yeah, that's
they have organization and management.
What am I trying to say? You know what I'm trying to say? This fight that you're seeing going on around the whole world, it's not coming to an end very soon, because China is not ready to give up its own technology, which is for Americans. And America is not ready to allow China to have the license to 5G, which means they're going to have access to America's security stuff, things like that. So what you're looking at a kind of, I don't want to use the word we don't out here. You are looking at let me use a dual language so that maybe you understand. You are looking at like fight. You understand? That is currently going around the whole world systematically, but it's not being told by the world media. So now, where does Nigeria and African countries stand in this whole fight?
Do you know?
That's
do you
my
know what?
question.
Do you know?
Where
Rita,
do they
Rita,
stand?
why is Rita saying that China?
See,
Rita, you keep saying China is in debt. Countries like China, debt doesn't worry them. People like debt doesn't worry America. There are certain level you get to. Debt is not your problem. Forget about debt. Forget about the economic this thing. The ability to generate and build things and create
do you know?
wealth is what you should be worried about. And
Do you know?
China right now has it in abundance.
This is why I don't.
Do you
This
know?
is what I was.
Do you know?
This I was
Do you
angry
know?
with one of
Can I
one of the
interject?
APC
Can I interject? My
Wait,
brother,
wait.
Niger.
I don't
I'm in
you now.
support.
Wait.
Oh, okay.
See, what I want to throw in this China issue, so that you people will believe. Do you know that Nigeria was better than China before economically? Do you people know that? So what I'm trying to say is that
If you go
if
back to
Nigeria,
history, sure,
huh?
sure. If
Yes,
you go back to history,
yeah, not
sure.
even, I think in the 80s or the even 90s. When did China start? Is it not after 2000 or 2000, maybe even 2004, 2005, China started. We are here in China. Now they are number 2. So Nigeria was better than China before economically, even all these South Asian. So when we discussing China, I give them credit. Credit I give them is that for them, where they were, to just leapfrog ahead of Germany, Italy, France, all this Canada, Australia, and look at where they are, even ahead of Japan.
Oga CM, do you know how they did that?
Eh,
The
well,
world trade,
whatever,
they battled for a
whatever,
good deal for themselves while they
whatever.
were getting concessions as being third world countries.
But
They took
whatever way,
advantage of that, and that
whatever
is
way
what
they
we
did it,
cannot do.
whatever way they did it, you see, if Nigeria cannot say let them go and be better than what is it called, a country like maybe Singapore, why can't we use Africa as our own, how do they call it, as our value chain?
Launch
I
pad
don't know.
and
Not
value
Bang.
exactly. Whatever
and
it
sphere
is.
of influence.
Let us just say that whatever happens in Africa, like Nigeria, let's just say, look, our idea is whatever we manufacture, we make sure that we saturate Africa with our product, African market. Let's just take that, say, give it a 5-10 year program. Now we get like say we've forgotten about the world. Let us and then with that.
Can I come in here? Can I come in here?
How do you compete in the world market when you do not produce anything? The China you guys are talking about. Let me tell you.
No.
Way back then,
No,
the railroad in
we
America
don't
was
produce.
constructed by the Chinese.
I don't.
The Chinese have been in power for years. Don't think they just came back.
Don't
They just came to
produce.
power in 2002, 2005. Let's talk about what is going on in Nigeria. What is going on inside
Nigeria produce.
China built the foundation. China built the foundation in
Can I come in here?
1960s.
Can I come in here, please?
What they are
You need to
reading now
understand
is
that
what
China
they
set
built
up
a long
a
time
system.
ago.
China has a system that is set up.
I have
that not
listened
even
to
the
all of
president
you
can
for
beat
more
that
than
system.
45 minutes now. Let me
Oh,
speak,
yeah.
I beg. I have muted so that I could listen to every one of you, and I know where I would jump into, so I don't go tie my leg.
Okay,
you see,
go ahead.
What we are seeing here, all of you are right. Mr. Tunaja, you are very, 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 very correct, 100%. You see why I say you are very correct? That is why I said we need to go and make a lot of research. A lot of things are happening. We need to really expand our course very well. Not thinking that what we hear that people have been saying over 10 years or 20 years ago, it can still be obtained now. No, things are changing. China has gone ahead in some areas ahead of America. One, you see, America, for now, out of 10 shipbuilding, America only have 2 that is refunctioning now. China in the next 5 years, China is going to have fleet almost 20% more than that of America. Warship. They even confess, the Minister of Defense, the Secretary of Defense even confessing it. It's right on YouTube right there. But where America have an edge is the technology. Why we say America is the superpower today, in terms of military wise, America, no matter how big your military is, America has taken advantage of technology. America now, presently, America has the 6th generation aircraft that even Russia is even battling with the 4th generation. China is battling with the 4th generation. America has aircraft that one costs over $1.5 billion for one, to produce one. That's a stealth aircraft that will, if they send
America
3
is
into
still
your,
struggling with
if they,
hypersonic missiles that the
wait,
Chinese
hold on. They've surpassed that. If you are not following it, go and
No,
check
they
it.
haven't. They are still
Wait
testing. I'm telling
now,
you.
wait. You go and check it now. You fact check me.
China is making its own like smartphones now.
Wait,
You know that, like iPhone
America has tested the supersonic weapon with their B-20, B-2 aircraft. They tested it of recent, and it went on fine.
Hypersonic, no.
Hypersonic.
No.
And America has a stealth aircraft that nobody in the world has now. If they send 3 into your country, your radar will never pick it.
Of course, that's all in our country, but if they go to China,
that is what makes America cheap. That is why the Chinese are trying to steal technology. China has one advantage again. China has one advantage again.
Black Panther, let me just say this to you. See, what you tend to see in a nation that is more advanced, when you look at it, you can tell that these people, to be able to pull this one off, what else can they be able to do? And if you look at what they are doing right now, what they have already shown you in the world,
I know
what are the things they've not even shown you at all?
Following them.
And this is a secretive country.
Yeah, let me just say something to you, Black Panther and everyone. Now, if America tells you that they have 50 aircraft,
they have more than 100,
like 5,000. Because just know that they have 5,000. Now, if America tells you that they have range of a mixer, maybe it's 4,000 something kilometer, just know that range is close to like 20 to 20 something thousand, because they're never going to give you. You understand? You understand? That's how it works, including China as well. China says, I think China says currently they have about 400 kilometers per range. You understand? So if you look at that range, China is never going to tell America his actual range, because it's secret. This is military secret. This is why I'm always angry with our African country for allowing foreign military to be, parading in our own territory. Which means
our own territory. That is
because it's a breach of security. And they don't know these things. It's a breach of security. You don't allow foreign military to be in your own.
We really have to push our people, man. We really have to push our leaders to stop this thing, man. This is
do you know that Nigeria
can't accept this nonsense anymore. We have been wallowing in dust for too long. We can't accept this nonsense from our leaders anymore. If you look at how fast this advances, it's crazy. Look at, we're just sitting down letting these leaders drive us into the ground. We are going to be in trouble here. Look at this. I didn't even know this is the pace of the advancement that is going on in the world. They are advancing too fast, and we are too slow.
Of course.
Our leaders, they have to understand the urgency of the situation. We need to seriously get our act together here. I'm watching this country, and I'm saying, I have to visit this country before I die. That is crazy. That's something that human being, people have built for themselves. What have we done? It's like when we dig inside the ground, we think we are burying people. We don't want to build anything.
We haven't done anything, and that's why we will never be respected. We are not respected. I don't see the respect coming.
Over 1 billion in population. What are we doing with it?
We have not done anything.
Before you come in, One Love, I wanted to say you were telling us to concentrate on what is happening in Nigeria. I wanted you to bring it up. I said, what do you want us to say?
What I'm trying to say,
we've exhausted ourselves now.
What I'm trying to say, as someone who has a military
fire the gun over our head now.
As someone who has a military background, I just want to put this to rest. When it comes to a military might all over the world, when it comes to the United States, forget it. I don't see any country that's going to
just forget it.
Forget it. That's all I have
No,
to say.
militarily, America is spread all over the world, obviously. But
Just
in terms
forget
of
it.
there are some countries they cannot defeat anymore. Like you can't
They
defeat
don't defeat any country. What do they
you
talk?
can't defeat
Mr.
Russia. You know,
Tunaja.
come on, man.
Mr. Tunaja,
You don't understand military tactics at all. You can't defeat
Just forget
Russia.
them.
Hello, please. If you say
There are
if
certain
you
people you
say
can't
that-
defeat anymore in this world. You can't defeat
Mr.
Russia. You can't defeat China.
Listen,
I don't think you can defeat
Tunaja,
Let me
forget that
ask this
thing.
question. If we say America is the most advanced or militarily, they are the strongest, then where do we keep Russia? And then why do I sense there's this sense
Russia
that
no get
America
money.
is
Do
quite
you
afraid
know?
of Russia?
I want to come in quick. Do you know why they defeated Japan in World War II? Do you know why?
Why?
Do
They
you
use atomic bomb.
do you
It's
think
a
it was
sign.
because of the atomic bomb? Do you know how they got the atomic bomb? Do you know
How?
it was not even the American government that got the atomic bomb? It were people, American citizens that got the atomic bomb because of the economic might. What I'm trying to say, as someone who has a U.S. military background, there is no country in the world that is going to fight America and win and get away with it.
So
You
but we
can't try it.
Was that there are some countries that cannot be defeated,
Have you
including
listened
America.
to General McGregor? General McGregor, an American general. Have you listened to General McGregor?
Those are opinions, ma'am. Those are opinions. I am telling you,
when he's in the front line. What about Scott Ritter? Have you listened to Scott Ritter?
Madam. Those are weak opinions.
Those are opinions.
How is it
Those
weak opinion? Black Panther, you are talking here.
See,
how is it weak opinion?
Madam, that's why I say you should expand your codes very well.
Black Panther, do you understand the doctrine of MAD? Mutually assured destruction. If you understand that doctrine, that should tell you that some countries cannot be defeated.
Yes, it's not America cannot be defeated by any country. There's one thing we need to understand. For example, America can be defeated if they lose focus.
America cannot be defeated, even in their dreams.
I'm just saying.
If you want to defeat America, you must be strong in your air power.
Now, let me use
as America.
Let me tell you what America is always finding it.
You can't defeat America, you can't defeat China, you can't defeat Russia.
They don't want me to talk.
Somebody invested.
Let's allow the lady to talk. Black Panther. Wait now, it's only one lady we have.
Black Panther, please allow her to talk, please. Thank you. Go ahead, Madam Busy Brains.
Yeah, what I was just trying to ask that wait, because from what I know, I have seen, even before the war broke down, before the war started in February, these generals, they were analyzing it and they predicted it. And their prediction from everything that is happening in the Russia is coming to pass. And then somebody is telling me these are weak minds. Do you know them? Why did you come to the conclusion that they are weak minds? I listen to varied opinions. I listen to other people's opinions, and then I form my own judgment based on the varied opinions. I have my own judgment based on my own experiences and my life, and by virtue of what I do. So I use a mixture of everything, and also a lot goes with my guts as well. So what I'm trying to say is this: at the end of the day, if we are saying America is not it is the superpower, but don't we think that right now, the way the world is going, Russia has come up to pose as the other opposing superpower. One that giving America all the credit.
Russia cannot even defeat Ukraine.
Russia don't fight now.
Have you listened? Have you seen the approach they took?
Madam, let me answer your question.
From my understanding, this is my understanding of the situation.
Yes, I understand what you're saying. Let me just answer your question.
Russia did not. It's not that Russia is going to war. And
if Russia can defeat California, yes, then I will start listening.
They did not approach it as a war when they went into Ukraine. If they had approached it then, I think that was Putin's mistake. He did not approach it as a war. If he had approached it as a war, it would have been a done deal. How can you say that a military might of over close to 500 million military soldiers If I'm not, if I get the stats right, how can you compare it with Ukraine? Of how the population of the Russian military is almost the population of the Ukrainian citizens. So how can
Madam, sorry, not the population they win war.
God. Actually, population.
The
Russian military is about 2 million.
The world has gone past that issue you are talking.
Let me answer your question. You see, America and Russia, they have both effective weapons. Both of them, they have effective weapons. Now, America is a country that loves their citizens. You need to first of all put that into your own. You can understand, yes, consideration. They love their country. Now, America wants to hit you, and they don't want you to hit them back. I want you to also understand that. They are a country that always want to hit you, and they don't want you to have the capacity to hit them back, because it's going to have effects on their own political agenda within their own country now. You know what I'm saying now? Now, not that America cannot beat Russia, but Russia has the capacity to also hit America back very badly. Very, very badly, and it's going to damage a lot of
America, not just hit back, destroy completely.
Yeah, so America will not want to do that. That's why you see any country that have the capacity to.
That was your mouth that bad, though. That means too
No, it's just a fact that they have more than 5,000 nuclear warheads.
America has sent us before you talk.
Nuclear warhead is totally.
Let me tell you, for my the only thing that America, the only power that America has,
a direct confrontation with Russia.
Russia can literally destroy the world if they want.
I'll zip my mouth soon. The only advantage, the biggest advantage I see America that America has over Russia is the power of propaganda. They have socially.
No.
What is the power of propaganda?
I don't know with other point.
Look like the bad guy. I'm not a Russian apologist, though. I'm not a fan of Russia.
Madam,
but
America is very good at propaganda. Let's not pretend.
Madam, let me tell you why I said your postulate is wrong. Let me tell you why. See, before you follow those general, you yourself got to make try to make a sort of go and look at what this country have and what those other country have before you follow the general. Generals are not the standard. Generals are not the standard. The reason why Russia has let me tell you the history.
Russia has almost 6,000
Let me tell you the history. Let me tell you they don't own it. Let me tell you why they had that thing. Let me tell you why they have that thing. That nuclear weapon, it was America that gave them that nuclear weapon. Let me tell you how. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you how now. Relax. Let me tell you. You got to follow history. When Soviet Union was in existence, and Russia, and then they have Gorbachev. Is it Gorbachev that was on throne then? Then Clinton was in that reign. They had problem and the breakage of America. Madam, wait now, make you learn this history.
What is this guy?
The nuclear majority 45% of the nuclear head was in Ukraine. America had to come in. America was controlled by Ukraine, not Russia. Wait now,
oh my God, this guy, man.
Thank you, Dan, for saying that.
Fact check me. No, fact check me. What I'm saying now, fact check me.
The whole Western world, Russia is fighting the whole.
Madam, listen to me. Fact check me. What I'm saying now.
Russia is finding difficult to take over Ukraine. Believe me, if they want to take over the whole of Ukraine tonight, they'll do
it overnight. But they don't want
to breaking news tomorrow. So they are just kind of playing stuff like that.
Let them go and take it now. Let them do it. Let them do it. Not talking. Let them do it.
Let them do it.
Let them do it.
That's why you see they negotiate, because Russia initially was not to take over the whole of Ukraine. He just wanted negotiation. He just wanted talk.
Let him go and take over.
See, Black Manta, you can't just say let him go and take over. Why would he want to take over? He's
what I'm saying now, my brother. What I'm saying now.
However, what I'm see, the original
make
point
everybody
is
fact check me.
let's not go round and round. Let's deal with the original point. The original point is that there are certain powers that cannot be defeated. We have to understand that, like Russia now cannot be defeated, China cannot be defeated, America cannot be defeated, India cannot be defeated. The others that have nuclear weapons,
India
cannot
not
be
enough. Defeated. How you talk now?
Because they have enough nuclear weapons to destroy the entire world.
Side, Jare. What they talk?
Oh my God, this guy don't understand the difference.
Yeah,
Like North Korea now, North Korea can be defeated.
Who is supplying India? Who is supplying India? Is it not Russia? All their aircraft Russia.
They build their own. What
Which
is wrong?
one? They don't get anything.
They just landed on the moon.
I know them.
Please say forget the moon.
See, forget that moon.
Forget that how can you just say that?
Moon. Which moon? What is it for the moon? Not the sun. There. The
moon. Which one is America failed? Many countries have failed to succeed in landing there. You're like saying Russia is giving them everything they have. Ridiculous.
See, the overriding principle is,
if they can get to the moon, they can.
They don't have anything. They don't have anything. China, India not get anything.
Let me ask you,
don't have anything in your book.
Gentlemen, the overriding principle is this: any country that has a nuclear weapon, America will think twice before fighting that country.
My brother, you're right.
Simple. You are right.
Listen, I'm coming.
Don't joke with such people.
Listen me. As terror prone as Pakistan is, because they have nuclear power, America will only cut them. But you can't just say, let me invade them. The same thing with any country that has it. I think India has one. Pakistan has. Japan, I think Japan.
Japan too.
Any country. So that is the mutual respect. It doesn't mean that they don't know America is strong.
See,
America will. I'm coming. America will be foolhardy to say, is it not Pakistan? Because if they release that, because that is why they acquired it. They have what America has. The only thing is that America militarily may be in order, but that nuclear power, France is having it, Britain is having it. That is what gives them that backup that whatever it is, America will come and negotiate. That's why America can. I don't know whether I think not.
You don't have power. You don't have power, and you just want to shoot just that one.
Exactly. I think North Korea has it. That's why once in a while,
maybe Britain get you.
Britain has it.
Britain has Trident. Trident is actually controlled by America. See. Let me add something. I think there are different scales. This in CM. There are like North Korea now. They have nuclear weapons, but now they are going to look to have submarines. So the ones that tend to have submarines,
they already have submarines.
Let me finish the point now. Let me finish the point that tend to have over 100 nuclear warheads. Those are the kind of nations that can never be defeated again because they have enough weapons to wipe out any power. And one of the things they can do with a submarine is that they can set off this in a tsunami that is basically a nuclear tsunami to wash over any coastal region and into any nation. So that kind of power, when you have it, nobody can want to mess with you. That's why I said that mad doctrine that says mutual assured destruction. There are some countries that cannot be defeated and they can be fought. So in the case of China now, when people say that America can defeat China, I don't know what you mean by that, except they say nobody use nuclear weapon, nobody use chemical weapon, nobody use biological weapon. They just use aircraft to aircraft and fight. Yes, maybe America will come on top on that one. But when it comes down to ultimate conflict, China has enough to destroy the entire world.
What kind of ultimate conflict?
Ultimate conflict with all bars. There's no restrictions. You're allowed to use whatever you got to defend yourself.
Let me give you an example. Russia has threatened like twice that they're going to use tactical nuclear weapon. Do you know why they made that threat? Because American military, European military, they were secretly entering Ukraine, which
Yes.
yes, they
To
were
scare them
secretly
out.
entering Ukraine to help Ukraine to fight, and Russia captured some of the American military and European military alive. So
Now
Russia,
that's some crazy stuff, man.
that's not
Can you
crazy.
imagine the kind
Russia,
of fear in your mind when you know that somebody could detonate a nuclear weapon there?
See,
You don't have any chance.
Tinaja, let me tell you
had
one
to make
thing.
threat twice that they might likely use a tactical nuclear weapon, because the fight now, it's going to be tough if American military, they are sneaking into Ukraine, and European military is sneaking into Ukraine to fight Russia. That means it's no longer Russia and Ukraine. So by proxy, everybody's fighting Russia. That's why Russia made that threat.
Okay, can I make this assessment so that
allow Dr. Kelly, please hold on. Allow Dr. Kelly to talk to us. Dr. Kelly, thanks for joining us. Please unmute yourself. Talk to us, sir. Unmute yourself, sir. Unmute yourself. Hello, sir. Can you get up? We can't hear you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Elvis. All these discussions we're having is irrelevant. We're talking about African issues. All of a sudden, we're talking about countries that have nuclear weapon that doesn't have nuclear weapon. So that's not the main issue. Let me ask a question. Does anyone know the richest country in the world in terms of mineral resources?
Congo.
DRC. No.
Nigeria.
No. Congo, Republic of Congo. They have about $13 trillion underneath. Do you know that they're one of the poorest countries in the world?
Yeah.
Do you know why? Do you know why?
Because of organization and management.
Organization and
management.
No. Let me.
Their leaders.
No.
Their leaders are because of their
Let me. Yeah.
Okay, what is the cause?
Human capital development.
That is organization and management. They didn't
No.
organize.
You have to develop before you manage. Nigeria, whatever you CM, place. Whatever you have on the ground, whatever you have on the ground. That is the argument. That is why Niger is kicking France out now. France was taking uranium from Niger at a price of 80 cents and selling it at 200 pounds. So whatever you have on the ground, if you don't have human capital development, that is who develops whatever you have on the ground. Whatever you have on the ground is BS. So
it's not entirely that.
It's not that.
Who's responsible to develop the human capital?
I totally disagree with that factor you just mentioned.
Exactly.
It's all good to have it because the people that go on to build nations have those qualities. Like someone like Lee Kuan Yew, Mao Zedong, they are all highly developed people in terms of their minds. But what is actually required is to have the space to develop, and to have the space to develop, you have to be stable, and to be stable, you have to have a level of security. Do you know today? I saw a video online. I think I said it earlier on that the French former intelligence officer is saying that now that France and the ambassadors, French troops and the ambassador has left Niger, that now they can start carrying out clandestine destabilization operation. This is actually what he said, destabilization operation. In other translation, they say in secret or in clandestine. So it tells you what is going on in other African countries. This is what they do. They sabotage the economy. They sabotage every system you have. This is why we don't have power supply. When I keep saying it, I said this is not normal. This is not how nations are. People think I'm joking. This is something. The video is on my channel right now. You can see it where the guy was saying it.
Okay, to Nigeria, like Dr. Kelly, we all agree that Congo has abundant mineral resources, yet they are poor. Yes, we know human capital development is part of human evolution and development. We know. I think somebody said their government. When the system is in disarray, you can't really develop. Mind you, there are Congolese that are not in Congo that emigrated and they are better citizens somewhere. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 10 of there may be many. Just like Nigerians, because of the situation we find ourselves, some people leave Nigeria and then become shining stars. Take for instance the football we play. So what everything like where I agree with you is that having all these resources, mineral under the ground with that, you didn't put it there, just God's gift because no man put them there. But in the end, you are poor. It means that poverty, you are responsible for what you are. Every
Yeah.
government, every country deserve the type of government they get. Because if you say you don't deserve it, then you change it. If you say you don't deserve it, you change it. So in the case of Congo, yes, they are poor, which they shouldn't be. But the thing is, until they organize themselves, part of that organization, it could be changing their political system, it could be toppling the old order or the order that is there, just like Nigeria is battling. Nigerian citizens are being held hostage by the leaders. Until the day we get up and say, look, enough is enough. We do what we are supposed to do. And then things will start falling in shape. So that is what is holding Congo. It is them. In the end, the momentum should come from them. I've lived long to see that in the world, the West are not coming to say, oh, Congo is suffering. Congo, this is what you should do. Rather, what they will even want is there a leeway for us to say, why did God place all these things in Africa? And then a country like South Korea has got no mineral resources. Yet they are trying to see how they can be mining our gold and be taken to their country. So it is
Exactly.
so in a way, we still come back to what we've been saying before. We all agree that we are responsible for our plight. We agree. If the Western world will come and help you to depopulate your people and you agree, so be it. I mean, they are the winner. But don't you know
What do
that?
you mean by depopulation?
I mean,
What do you mean by
sorry, not depopulation. I should I say deprive, not deprivation, to make
Okay.
your country poor. So if the West can come and
Are
destroy
you worried about being wiped out?
No,
I was scared.
no. I mean,
no,
He's already worried.
If
if the West could come,
who are
if
living
the West,
below
if
a
the
dollar
West,
a day, that's the population in these
if
guys. Don't you know that
if
when people go to
if
the health
let
hospital,
me
they are not taken care of, kind of stuff,
if
nothing to take care of them. That's the population.
if the West will come and look for a mole, plant a mole among yourself and use it to siphon your resources or even topple you up or remote you, and you people agree, in the end, everything boils down to you. But do you know why I always blame our leader is this? Like Mandela said, always say, look, in your country, will you do that? It's like they will come and help us to install a mediocre government. There was a video this lady said, I mean, Aisha Yusuf, also the
you
one
see
that
fire.
follows the
Yeah.
that one told I mean this Catriona Lang, the former British High Commissioner, he told her off. He said, in your country, we INEC do the type of thing they did in Nigeria, and you are telling
CM.
us. So if we can take from that
CM.
angle, and they agree
CM.
that if we want to, we tell the West, if they come and tell us that our election is free and fair, will that pass for free and fair in their own country?
CM, can I grab 5 minutes with you all? Please, my brothers and sisters, I'm a Nigerian and I'm Igbo, so don't worry about the nickname there. So I am so grateful, so appreciative to be in this midst of discussion. I want to tell a personal story, and I don't want you to have, I'm okay. I'm blessed. I'm grateful to God. One of the reasons that Mr. Avis, you don't know, I used to have a dog, when on my profiles, I have my dog, it was my therapy until that dog passed away. So now I'm back home, So about, I here in the US, I used to own a business that is way more than $10 million. Let me put it that way. But unfortunately, about 3, 4, 5 years ago, my health has not been. So right now, I am swimming in depth of, I'm about to lose everything, but I'll be fine. Listening to you all, joining you all is giving me like a belonging. It's not making me think about my situation again. It's not making me be depressed again. If you know where I'm coming from, maybe those of you who is in Dallas, Black Panda, you in Dallas, right? Who lives in Dallas?
Give us our mandate.
Our mandate.
I live in Dallas as well.
I don't
give
live
us
there,
our
but I live in
mandate.
outskirts of Dallas.
Yeah. We're in Dallas. Probably, if I tell you my last name, you probably, because I have a large member of my family in Dallas, but I don't live in. I used to live in Dallas, but I'm not going to go there. So, please, I want to thank everybody in this session, both, oh, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram, Elvis. I don't know how you have, the wisdom to do what you do. I commend you, and I am going to give you a birthday present. That is going to buy you at least 10 cups of coffee. You know. So please, my dear brothers and sisters, I don't know how we can. One of the things that give me joy is this. This is not an Igbo. This is not Edo. This is not Yoruba. This is, I don't know, please correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm very new here, or a Fulani, Hasa Fulani, or Fulani in this year, we all can get together and make our country work. We all can get together and make Nigeria a better place. Again, I thank you and I appreciate you giving me this 5, 6, 10 minutes audience. I'm grateful to you all.
You're very welcome, Dr. Kelly.
Dr. Kelly, by all means, we are here every day. Please.
Yeah, I know. I listen to you all every day. Every day. I left work. I listen to every day. I don't go to bed until I finish listening to the session. I don't go to bed. I just started joining, just to be part of. To get my mind off. America is too stressful that, it's just. But I'm grateful to you all.
I'm glad you came in and found some of the conversations, at least to an extent uplifting. Yeah, it's true. The world can be very challenging, and and it's good that we see some light somewhere. And I'm glad this channel has given you that. It's something that I really do. I think CM was clapping when you were saying it, because it's something that we all relate to. We all go through challenges in our lives, and we have to learn to let go of the things we cannot control. Those problems, they will be where they are, and you just have peace of mind. Because your peace of mind is the most important thing you have to preserve, and let the world do its own thing.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. So Dr. Kelly, you are welcome. Please, having said so, I know you listen to us. Please try and be joining. Apart from
Oh
this,
yeah, well,
come and join.
most of the times I'm at work.
Yeah.
I'm in the medical field, but I just want to leave it there. I am at work, and I have patients that I attend to. So, but I just have to leave work by 5 o'clock, so to get home to, join. So
Because
this,
of
I listen to you all every day.
Dr.
And I'm
Kelly,
going to subscribe. Yeah, I'm going to join. Not yeah. Go ahead, CM.
Dr. Kelly, because you said a medical profession, I want you to take your mind back to Nigeria, because
Yeah.
if they ask you now,
Mhm.
what do you think? Probably you may need some days to prepare a memo or something. Said, what blueprint can you give Nigeria to revamp our healthcare delivery system? I won't say just healthcare delivery in Nigeria. I don't know whether you appreciate the enormity of the mess that is on ground over there, but if they ask you as a professional and they are in the area, what prescription, not just drug, this is not drug, but they just use the word prescription. What panacea can you offer them, despite the cost or the challenge? I mean, the inconvenience. What do you think could be done, at least to bring it to something that somebody can say, yes, we have a healthcare delivery system,
Oh,
given your
okay.
experience?
Yeah. CM, let me start. When my mom was sick, she couldn't sleep at night. We were looking for Benadryl. CM, you have Benadryl in London, right?
It
might be called a different name.
It might be Nurofen.
I don't know. The generic name is diphenhydramine. I don't know what it is called, but
even if you say Nigeria, there should be somewhere in Nigeria. Not to talk of UK, there must be.
No. But what I'm trying to say, that I'm from Imo State. We went to almost every pharmacy in Imo State. It was difficult to find. The first time that I took Benadryl when I came to America, in the late 80s, I didn't know that Benadryl, the side effect is sleepiness. So I took it. I was driving. I almost crashed on the road. And I didn't know what I took, because I was new and I had code, and somebody recommended Benadryl. Benadryl is over the counter. So what am I trying to say? Only thing I'm trying to say, ignorance is
dangerous.
Again, that lack of knowledge. Ignorance is probably 90% of the problem we have. And I'm a Christian. Let me say this on record. If I have my way in Nigeria, I will ban everything religion.
At least, it should be pushed to the background. Yes,
a lot of people believe that. A lot of people believe that religion is part of the problem.
If I have my way in Nigeria, I will ban everything religion. How can you tell me that I'm having headache? Okay, I don't know whether you all know what you all call CM. You might know, because I know that you or what is called ashere. Some of them, their legs will start swelling up, and this is just cellulitis. What is cellulitis? Some of you did chemistry. Cell.
I know.
Inflammation of the cells towards you. Yeah, inflammation of the cells. You need antibiotics. You go to a chemist store. I mean, somebody's I have this native doctor that cured me. Then the native doctor, you go to that native doctor. The native doctor will put scares on that, and put also their dirty
bacteria, introduce bacteria into it.
Exactly. It gets infected.
and you die. And you'll be accusing your next door neighbor. You'll be accusing your next door neighbor. You'll be accusing your mother. You'll be accusing your father. You'll be accusing your brother.
So which means, Dr. Kelly, you're talking of a it's like I'm interviewing you now. So you're talking of a retraining, sort of training the healthcare personnel better, isn't it?
Not only the healthcare personnel, the populace has to be retrained. You get to know. But if you come here, or maybe United Kingdom, if I give you one tablet, I am obliged to tell you this tablet does so. These are what you got to avoid.
It is not the people you blame. You blame the Nigerian Medical Association for it should tell you, because that is what you said is observed. Whoever leaves Nigeria and comes to the Western world, you'll be surprised that when the doctor is giving you recommended tablet, he said, I'm recommending this because it's going to do this to you, and then this. Please, if this thing happens, stop using it, come back here. That type of thing. As if you are challenging the doctor.
CM, can I interject? The reason why I wouldn't blame the medical doctors entirely is this. There's no definition. You know that here in this country, a medical doctor cannot be able to open a pharmacy in his office. Can never.
But in Nigeria, they do.
We have a failed system. All these things you guys are talking about is not going to work if our system is not fixed.
So unless we retrain, unless we re-educate,
we have
it's not going to work. It will take millions of years to work.
Let me just add a little bit to what Dr. Ken used one word. He said ignorance. If you really understand what he meant by that, ignorance. Now, most people that are in position in Nigeria, majority of them are not even professional. Let's look at Fashola, who is a lawyer, was made Minister of Works and Power, and we expect him not to be cheated. What does he know as a Minister of Power? That's on one hand, his ignorance in the field that he's been given.
Sorry, a minister must not be a technocrat in that field.
No, I disagree with that because
I disagree with you because when you take UK, for example, the National Health Service was formed in 1948 when Henry Bevan was the Minister for Health. He wasn't a doctor, but he achieved what could be regarded as the greatest thing in the history of the United Kingdom. So you must not be a technocrat. The reason why Fashola failed and the rest of them was that the man in charge was just a dummy.
I disagree with you. I disagree with you. Where in the United States is hard because you can't even get into any field. It doesn't matter what in your political career without you having a knowledge in that area, because that's what all the journalists are going to be asking you.
Is Jeremy Hunt a doctor? Is Jeremy Hunt a doctor? But he was the Secretary of Health in the UK when I was writing my exams. So.
Sammy, what you should know is
there is someone that preside over the activities. Has to be professional. How can you preside over
it mustn't be. It mustn't be.
Jeremy Hunt didn't exactly oversee an improving NHS, did he? So maybe there is nothing wrong with knowing more a little bit about the industry you are running.
But it's not a must. It's not a must.
It's not a must. It can be.
Yeah, what he said. There's nothing wrong in knowing a little bit of the industry you're in charge of.
Sammy, there's something I want you to note. Because I know quickly, I was expecting you to say maybe immediately you leave Nigeria, you can just bring in country like maybe Senegal, Tanzania, or Namibia, or Rwanda.
How
You
should
jump
I
to you.
bring them?
I'm
They
coming.
are
You
there.
jump to UK. Listen, you jump to UK. Our level. Look, if you bring somebody who did a level, just a level, and they was able to do work, have a work experience of about 10, 20 years, making the mini secretary of health in UK, the health system will be functioning. Their system is already in place. Whether you bring somebody who read psychology, or somebody who a medical doctor, or somebody who just studied civil engineering and making this, the system will be working. Because
Sorry.
no,
Do you believe
the system
that we
will
did
work.
better in the First Republic than
Listen,
now? Who was the Minister for Health in the First
Listen.
Republic under Tafawa Balewa?
We didn't exactly do
Who was
that.
the Minister for Health?
It was
Was
just
it a
the
doctor?
times.
Yes, Majekodumi. Edwin Moses Majekodumi, the owner of St. Nicholas Hospital. Go and check. He was the Minister for Health. It was him that Tafawa Balewa deployed when they had Wild West. He declared state of emergency, removed the Awolowo and Akintola them, and then put the man in charge to probe the West. Somebody is here can correct me. Majekodumi was Minister for Health, a gynecologist.
Since after the first start, the 70s, when the oil prices were very, very high, we were always heading for a decline. As a matter of fact, we were heading for a decline right from the moment we had our independence, based on the mindset our leaders had. They never planned for a future where we will actually thrive. They have always hooked themselves with Western powers. I don't understand how they thought that would lead us to prosperity, because that never actually worked for any group of people. That said, there was something Busy Brain said earlier on that I think is worth reiterating. She said something about actually understanding stuff on a macro level, in other words, geopolitical level or on a larger scale, and applying it on a micro scale. That is something that we really need to get good at, because we seem to operate on a micro scale a lot. We spend a lot of time on that. We never look at the environment. It's like a child looking at the ceiling of a house, never worrying about the sky. And there is a bigger world out there that has more implications for everything we are going to do on the micro scale. And that's why it's important we pay attention to that kind of statement, because I think it's valuable thing to be able to say, because she distilled it to that point. I've been talking about that in terms of understanding what is going on around the world, but she was able to distill it to the point of saying, okay, understand what is going on the wider scale, then apply solutions on a micro scale. Then you get somewhere. Thank you.
Okay, yes. I believe something like you tailor whatever solution you have to your local peculiarity, something like that, and it will work. So that
that was the essence of them, having a local government councils when they created local government councils. Does it work? It doesn't.
That is iPhone money. It's not.
If you look at even governors don't conduct local government elections anymore. Look at Obaseki. He stayed for how many years without local government chairman? Development never got to the
right. It's not Obaseki alone. All of them, every single one of them.
That's what I'm saying, because I think most governors no longer conduct local government election.
Yeah, because the federal,
they were conducting when they're about to leave office. To me, I don't know if that's in the Constitution. That should be an impeachable offense, but I don't know if it's in the Constitution.
It is the Constitution. It is the Constitution. The Constitution
regarding
the governor will intentionally hold down local government that's supposed to bring development to the society, to the local area, without conducting election, doing nothing. And look, I saw a video that my brother posted maybe a few hours ago, and I saw how a school in Edo State, a school. That's crazy. A school abandoned because of lack of local government presence. Because the governor cannot eventually reach everybody. That's why we have local government.
Now, what are you, is there any primary school that is working in the whole of the country? Wait, okay, let me not say in the whole of the country because I've not been in the whole of. Say in Imo State, there's no one primary school that is working, not even one single one, and it is under the local government authority. Everybody now it goes to private school. Everybody goes to private school.
Can I just interject to add to what you've just said?
Yeah.
And the reason why you've just raised the point, everybody goes to private school. When they bastardize the public school, we all go to private school. They bastardize our general hospitals, we all go to private hospitals. They bastardize our a lot of the services that the majority, the mass are supposed to go to. They bastardize them, and then we go and create our own. We are our own government. We create our own boreholes. We are our own water board. We are our own NEPA. We have our own better pass your own. We are our own hospitals because we go to those private hospitals. Why is that? Because we do not push back. Because there is no a vibrant opposition. We Nigerians have just been sleeping. They will say, do go this, go that. They will say, that's what God want them. It's the will of God. Then we just let them do as they want. That is why we are where we are. Sorry for cutting you and moaning like this.
No. What you know?
Somebody said something that the worst of us are the one ruling us, and I agree with that statement. The worst of us are because these guys don't see anything wrong with our educational system. They don't see anything wrong with our healthcare. They don't see any. I mean, these guys can comfortably drive on the street. They'll see beggars on the street. They'll see people suffering, hawking. These guys be comfortable. Today, we just watched a video. We just watched a video where two men were cooking in the kitchen, right? They were cooking, enjoying themselves. You know, minister, is he secretary to the government or what? Or chief of staff, right?
Chief of staff.
But Amina and Wiki.
Okay, that's chief of staff. So these guys are just enjoying themselves.
PDP and APC.
Okay, you see, that's the system where we are. The system is messed up. So my point is that we need to reset our system. We have no system. I said it earlier today. I said even if there is no president in America, you don't have governors, the system will still be working.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
The system will still be working. If we don't have president in America, we don't have governors, because it's a system that are put in place.
Look at the local local DA, city, charging Donald Trump, a DA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Charging Donald Trump, district attorney.
That's like the least community. Do you ever think that a local
government, your country district is like the local government charging the president?
Charging a whole former president.
And that is because the society
and the government
has been empowered to be able to challenge the system.
Look at Joe Biden. Look at Joe Biden facing impeachment, not because of him really, but because of his son. Because of his son.
Those ones are political. They just very political.
You understand? I understand it's political, but I'm looking at it and bringing that back to our own country, where this current man is serving as a president. All crimes committed by him directly. All crimes.
Here in this country, who chooses your Senate leader? The Senate themselves. The president don't have any iota of input. Who chooses your or speaker? The members of the representatives themselves. The president cannot impose anybody on anybody.
Because the system is working. The system is working.
works.
The system is working. In our
The
own
system
system,
works.
in our country, nothing is working. The system has been brought down by greedy politicians. They've taken over the system. We are in a state capture. In a state capture. You see, that's why I agree with the statement that was used today that the worst of us are the ones ruling us. And it's 1 million times. I agree with that statement 1 million times. That's why we don't have healthcare system because
I don't like to look at it like the worst of us
within
as the ones ruling us, because in the end, the worst of us is emerging from the pool of us all. And if people become what they become, people become what they become because of what they came from, where they came from. So our people, the mindset we have right now, that's why sometimes I find it a little bit hard to blame our people for what is happening to them, because the forces that are at play here are higher level forces. Like some of the things other Asian countries went to, we didn't go through those things. So how can we possibly
Like
react
what?
the way
Like
they did?
what?
Like
what?
catastrophic
They were not
warfare.
enslaved.
Catastrophic warfare. We the kind
But-
of warfare
but-
they went through,
but-
and they lived through it to see it.
but-
After
but
the war
let's-
ended, they went and built. But we didn't go through that.
But let's put it this way: if as a nation we were able to fight for 3 years or there 30 months, that should have taught us a lesson, and then we move on. It is true. Maybe we needed another war, but I don't want it. That one we fought should have been enough for us to
But
know
the
that
reason-
That was against
Who-
ourselves. All the other nations fought
the-
external
the-
okay,
forces.
external. Okay, well,
He
Oga
united
CN,
them. What he did was he united them
but
and
it-
had
it-
them
it-
set
it-
their
that
differences
war
aside.
united them more than if you see if the side of the Biafra won the war, it would be a different story, because it would distilled people. It would be a distilled group of people that would crop up to rule us. People with
But there's no
sound mind.
guarantee of that, Bozy Brain.
Yes,
because,
no guarantee,
because
obviously.
South Sudan is proving the opposite.
No,
The
obviously,
issue
there's
is
no-
that
there's no guarantee.
we're
I
not
get that.
fighting the right people. That's the problem. We're not
Which
fighting the right
circumstance
battle. We're
is
fighting the
proving
wrong
the
battle.
opposite?
but to
Which
Nigeria,
circumstance, sorry.
to Nigeria, given the
Which
what you mentioned,
circumstance?
Nigeria, if we had fought against external enemy, do you think we are going to win? Do you think?
No. It doesn't matter whether you win. That's the weirdest thing. All the ones that lost, they went on to even do better than us. Like
But
Japan
because-
was nuked twice.
but-
South Korea was almost destroyed completely. Look at them; they're all doing better than us. Vietnam.
We've gone around Africa to restore peace. In the Congo in the 60s, in Liberia, in Sierra Leone, and I think somewhere else again. I forgot. I mean, even in the somewhere else again. So the experience
It's like measuring the height of tall people among dwarfs. It's like you can't. This is not. We are not participating in first world conflict. That's the problem. We keep engaging with people that are like dwarfs like us. We have to start playing the big
Not
game.
dwarves, daft.
How prepared are you? How prepared are
It's
you
like
to
measuring
play?
height among dwarfs. You can't. I'm not one to be
prepared are
offensive
you,
to the shorter people, the smaller people of the world.
How prepared are you to play in a higher league? Listen, nature
You
entrusted
have
you
to be
with
ready
a role.
for it.
Nature entrusted Nigeria with a role for the black people, at least, even if it's in Africa or along the West Coast.
What role?
The role of leadership, given our peculiarities, everything we have.
But the leadership we've got, it didn't allow us to do what we need to do. That's the problem. We never really bothered to free ourselves.
No, you know
Our
why?
leaders
You know
are
why?
Anglophiles. I'm reading a document here about the Anglo and this in Nigeria. And you know that Nigeria and the UK once had a military pact just before independence.
They signed it in the
1958 to 1962. That was Nigeria had to give that assurance that they're going to have that pact before they gave us independence. That was a condition, even. So after they did that, then Nigeria went and turned on them because of it, because they realized what they were doing to the French, and because of that, they lost control of Nigeria from that point of view. But our leaders didn't go from there because they were so Anglophile. That is how they described it. They described our leaders as Anglophile. They were so Anglophile that they didn't go ahead to try to free us from the control of this in the Western powers. So we maintained close ties with them, and this is the result of what we have done. while other Asian nations were distancing themselves. Even Israel distanced itself from the West to get itself together. Now they are the best friends of Israel, isn't it?
No. We did not maintain close ties with them because we wanted to. They never wanted to leave us. Because
See,
if
it's
you
not their
check,
choice. It's your choice to choose to leave.
if you check the list of officers at Independence, you will see a particular pattern. I don't want to mention it because you are fond of accusing people of tribalism and the rest. So if you check, if you check that list, you will see a particular pattern. Then after 1966, that pattern changed, because the British never wanted to leave because they wanted a particular zone to take preeminence. If you check the list of officers at Independence, the highest ranked northern officer, just check where he was at that time. Check the people that were, highly ranked then. So the British were not happy with that. Because they were not comfortable. They were not comfortable with a Southern-dominated army, so they wanted to tilt it in the favor of the.
Sammy,
Sorry.
A brigadier is a high rank from the north. Brigadier my Malari.
Yeah. My Malari was the highest ranked, but he was not a brigadier at Independence. My Malari was not a brigadier at Independence. Okay. Even people like Madiebo, the chief of army staff in Biafra, as at the time of independence, was ranked higher than my Malari. So just go and check the list. See, so the British were afraid of a southern dominated army, so they wanted a northern dominated army. So it wasn't like we embraced them, of our own volition. They never wanted to leave us because they wanted to manipulate the army and then, try to realize the agenda of a northern dominated army. So back to the issue of a technocrat, in quotes, being a minister or whatever. In so you mentioned Majekodumi. Majekodumi was Minister for Health in 1964. So the first Minister for Health under Tafawa Balewa from 1957 to 1959 wasn't a doctor. The Minister for Health, Wazir Ibrahim, from 1959 to 1964 wasn't a doctor. During Shagari's time, from 1979 to 1983, when DC Ugwu was the minister, DC Ugwu wasn't a doctor. In fact, he attended teacher training college. So it was this Ugwu that brought the only doctoral college in the country to Enugu.
It became a republic in 1963.
What it takes to take care of a patient. People who have no clue what it means to take care of patients.
No. See, the office of a minister, you have agencies. Of course, you have.
Let me say something. Even if, for example, if I want to give you, for example, let me just come to corporate world, in a corporate world, and if you have, I think one of our brothers is here right now. Maybe he may also understand what I'm talking about. In a corporate world, and if you want to succeed, the first thing I would do to make my workers succeed, I have to first of all make sure that my workers succeed, which means if my workers is succeeding, then I'll be succeeding as well.
Yeah.
If my workers is succeeding, I'll be succeeding. If I'm thinking that making my own workers, making my agencies to suffer, then my business will suffer. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. So for me trying to make my workers succeed, I'm actually not trying to help them. I'm helping myself.
I don't know whether anybody knows what is in Kanu. I don't know what is in Kanu, but I think there is some facility in Kanu that the British found to be very, very important to them before independence. And from the documents, it just keeps cropping up from top to bottom. They didn't care too much about Lagos or Port Harcourt even. It was something in Kanu that they were using to communicate with the network that they have in the world. that was the key reason why they really wanted control over this thing, the Nigerian this thing in terms of security and defense. So they kept coming up with that, and I think recently I learned that there was this facility in northern Nigeria. I don't know whether it was Kanu, that the British have always been there for a very, very long time. I didn't know, but from this document is highlighting that point. And I think what Sanib said about whether the Northerners were favored by the British. Personally, the way I look at it is that the dynamics of the country. If you look at the dynamics of the country, it implied that the only thing that the North had going for them, if they are going to survive in this country without becoming downright slaves, is governance. That's the only thing they will have control over, because the South dominates them in so many areas, from development, education, just name it, culture, everything. We just seems to be far more advanced than they are. That to the point where by the time the British left Nigeria, they said Nigeria, in the southern part of Nigeria had 800 and something schools, while the northern part had just about 10 or barely 20. So you see the gap between the north and the south. So the only thing they can have going for them is governance. Hence why they take that more seriously than the south. So
okay,
there has to be a balance somewhere.
If you say the only thing going for them, you are implying that every northerner is in power, because as far as I'm concerned, and from the data we have in all over the place in Nigeria, the north is already down, is in shambles. Look at their health indices, look at the educational indices, so if you say going for them, you are implying that every Tom, Dick and Harry in the north is in power, because as we are speaking now,
Sunny, if you think that is bad now, can you imagine what would have happened to them if the South was completely governing? They would be
no, but what is happening to them now, because they are wretched. There are what are they
but if the South, if they didn't manage to govern the country at all,
no. See, if the South had been governing Nigeria from 1960 till now, life would have been better for the northerner.
Yeah, as a slave.
I'm saying it. What
are you talking about? If the leaders are making them slaves, the southerners are not interested in making them slaves. It's their leaders that are enslaving them. If the South had been governing, the North would have been far, far, far better than it is now. Even
let me give you
a typical example that we even use. When Jonathan was in power, he built a Almajiri school for the North.
Sanib, so you understand where I'm coming from. If you have a four-legged stool and one of them is not standing properly, what is going to happen when you sit on it? You're likely to fall because of instability. It's not stable. There's no equilibrium in it. That is what is happening. Most nations, that's how they balance themselves out. There has to be a balance of forces. Because if there's a balance, then
the reason why the British gave North power is not for the good of the common northerner. It's just for their selfish reasons, because
they didn't give them power. Your mistake is that you're thinking that they gave them power.
Are happy when Nigeria is down. If Southerners had been ruling Nigeria, the North would have been 100 times better than it is now. Everybody on this panel knows that. Everybody on this panel knows that, and you know that as well. But you just, for the sake of debate.
But let me say, it's because the country is not on the first instance. If we're one, why should I be bothered that somebody from the north is going to rule me, or somebody from the south has to be the one to rule me? That's because we're not one. We're not united. You understand? We're not just one.
See, P-Soft. One of the things you want to do we should go and start reading some of the documents that occurred during the time. They said the British, they made sure that the regions never really got on politically together. They kept them separate. And that is the infrastructure they left on the ground, because they knew if the
North was working with that's an interference in our country.
Of course, but it's in their own interest. If the South and the North and all the regions were working together, we'll kick them out even faster. And we'll become even stronger. So they kept us separate. But when they left, because the North generally they tend to have more organization and maybe it's a little bit more population. They tend to win premiership, and Nnamdi Azikiwe was president.
No.
You have different
Those
Hold on,
elections,
let me finish my point. But look at what happened. The moment you try to change that calculus, where the Southerner became first, a Southerner plotted a coup, and the Southerner took over. The moment you did that, the system, that four-legged stool or three-legged stool in the case of Nigeria.
No. See, there are some statements that you are making. There are some statements that you are making that are very sensitive. You said a Southerner plotted the coup. That is very wrong from history that everybody knows, including my nephew. You know that coup was not plotted by one person. You know, so stop misleading the panel. Okay,
no, okay,
so that coup was not plotted by one person. So it was plotted by a group of people across the country. So it wasn't plotted by one person.
You are not understanding my point. You understand? Okay, let's say Nigeria stands on 4 stools. The 3 major ethnic groups are minorities. Four groups. Now, what happened was that one of the groups unbalanced the equation. In other words, they controlled many in terms of military. They were at the top of the military, actually. The Southeasterners were at the top of the military. They were some of the most educated people in the country. So, but when they took over leadership of the country on top of it, the system became unbalanced. And now the other side has to respond. And that is what you saw. And if you look at the world, the reason why America and Russia is not fighting today is because that balance is there. One is strong and the other one is strong. If they go at each other, both of them will lose. And if one of them becomes very weak, believe you me, there's going to be a war between them. If Russia decides to weaken itself and destroy its nuclear weapon, America will go there tomorrow and destroy Russia.
America will definitely
created an imbalance. Yeah, because you've created an imbalance. And that's why I keep saying, I don't blame white people or Asians or all those things for our problems. We are the ones causing the trouble in the world. Because we are one of the major, that's out of the 4 great races in the world, we are one of them, but yet we are so weak. Because of that, that is going to lead to a conflict.
Sorry, I want to understand you clearly concerning the imbalance you are talking about. What imbalance did it create? Because I just want to understand what you mean by that and then know how to respond from the information I have.
Is that when there is balance, it simply means nobody will want to attack each other. There will be more stability. But if you have imbalance, in other words, vacuum of power.
No, there was no vacuum. Was there a vacuum? You know, the queue was not the queue. If we had time here, I will tell you the story of the queue. If we had time here, I will tell you what happened before the queue, during the queue, and after the queue, and all other queue in Nigeria in granular detail.
See, let me just explain what you were trying to, because I didn't think you were addressing the Nigerian context. In the Nigerian context, where the imbalance occurred was that the 4 groups that were relatively stable and they were functioning okay, one group had a lot of education, had a lot of power in the military and everything.
It wasn't stable. Before then, there was wide west. There was instability in the west.
Let me finish my point.
It wasn't stable.
Hold on now. Let me finish my point.
You need to go and study the history of Nigeria properly.
You have to let people finish what they are saying first.
Okay.
So when one side decided to move and you find that one side took power and held on to power, so it meant that imbalance existed. One side doesn't have anything going for them anymore. And you had the pushback that occurred from that. What you are talking about, the Wild West, that was within the West. That wasn't going to spill over into a civil war into the entire country. What we are talking about is the balance between the great groups in the country.
Many authors link the first military coup to
Can I ask a question
issues in the South, in the West.
Sorry.
Many authors link. Yeah.
Mr. Where did you get that history from?
What history?
Because it's what
you are talking now.
No, the history is very obvious. The history is wrong. Okay, tell me what is wrong. Tell me what is wrong with it, please. Please tell me what is wrong with it so that I can correct
it. Let me tell you what is wrong with it.
I've been listening to you. Everything you have saying is wrong.
Don't just say I'm wrong. Tell me what is wrong.
Everything you said is wrong.
No, but that is not telling me anything. Just saying everything is wrong is not accurate.
And you read Man of the People. Man of the People by Chinua Achebe.
Let's look at it on both ends. On both ends, they were fighting for their selfish interests and not for the Nigerian people. You see that? That's because they were never won. They were fighting for their selfish interests and not for the Nigerian people. Even if you planned a coup and you took over the office, you're supposed to work for the country, work for the people of the country, not for your own region or for other person's region. No, because it's supposed to be the interest of the country. So the moment you take the interest of the country out of the equation, then what you're doing is wrong and you should not be supported in whatever form, because the country comes first. The people of this country comes first. If you plan coup, it should be for the favor for the people of this country and not for some regional stuff or whatever.
No. But the queue wasn't the queue wasn't for a selfish reason. Before the queue, there was gross maladministration in Nigeria. If you've read The Man of the People by Chinua Achebe, because after the queue, Chinua Achebe was they wanted to arrest Chinua Achebe when Gowon took over, because if you read the Man of the People and how it ended, it just mirrored everything that happened in Nigeria up to the time of the coup. By the time the coup took place, there was gross corruption. And then in 1964, when the issues in the West, between Akintola and Obafemi Awolowo, somebody said it's just a Southwest thing. No, Lagos was the capital of Nigeria. So the West was Lagos. Was part of the West, really, but it wasn't like completely part of the West, if you understand very well. So Lagos was the capital of the country. So anything affecting the West, as at that time, will affect the whole country.
No, it wasn't actually. Regional conflicts
so
are regional
political
conflicts.
Instability.
It was just a regional instability.
After the election,
national one. It had nothing to do with national structure itself. So what I'm saying is should be clear to understand. If you look at what has maintained a level of stability in Nigeria so far, is that configuration whereby you have governance being generally controlled in the north, the southern party have more development.
What you are saying, we are annoying.
You may not like it. You may not like to hear it.
We are annoying most Nigerians.
Hold on now. Let me finish my point. Calm down.
Many young people in Nigeria annoying.
Don't just talk. Yeah, of course you don't like to hear it, but you may not like to hear it. But you have to look at the essentials of what is happening in the country. Like you look at it, many African countries don't survive like this. Many African countries, you have one side dominating, or you don't talk kind of crazy stuff going on. But if you look at Nigeria, there's a reason why one leader cannot control Nigeria compared to other African countries. There's a reason why almost 50% of the time you have Christians or Muslims running the country. There's a reason why minorities have run Nigeria longer than even majority group or the major groups, as they like to call themselves. So Nigeria is a peculiar country, and because of that balance that exists, there's a reason why you have Northerners valuing politics more than this in Southerners. There's a reason why you have most of the wealth. It's almost like when you see look at where the South, where almost all the wealth is coming from. They barely have any political.
If you make this argument on another platform, I will not even bother to challenge you. But on this platform, I will not allow some of this wrong information.
It's not wrong information. It's a fact of life.
Into the ears of everyone.
The only time it was destabilized, we got a civil war out of it.
I think I gave my own postulation. This is my own postulation, my own understanding of the situation. The Northerners are less developed, less educated. However, they are also a feudal society, which means the general masses give allegiance to their emirs. So they put the emirs in position of God. They see the emir as next to God. So basically, everything and anything the emir tells them to do, they will do. They are generally a controlled populace. Now, the white man has come, understood the situation. Now that he's going, he still wants to rule vicariously. Who would he choose? He will not choose the Westerner. He will not choose the Easterner. So he now chose the Northerner, who by majority has the people under their control. And by having their people under their control, then they inadvertently have Nigeria under their control. Because, like, I mean, you can look at the dynamics. Where we are right now, we are trying to move the country forward. While the Easterners and the West are together, I mean, there's a general consensus, there's an understanding of where we are going. The North are far behind.
Exactly.
They are still going by the decisions that their leaders will tell them. Their leaders will say, okay, go this way, go left, go left. They'll be going. No questions asked, no rebellion.
Yeah, but in Liberia, Sierra Leone, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, there's no Northerners, but the same equation still exists.
There is in Ghana.
Yeah, but they are not the ones controlling the country. They are not the ones controlling
the minorities. That is because they are the minorities.
Exactly. So you have to have something to show for yourself. Nigeria, they didn't get the power because of they were just chosen, like, oh, because you are a Northerner and you listen to your leaders. No, it's because they had a population, they have a presence in the country. As a matter of fact, they make up almost 2/3 of the landmass of the country. Sometimes we forget that.
Landmass.
The population is still under dispute. Because you can't prove
that it's not fair now. We dismiss them when people make up a large chunk of the landmass of the country.
Listen, you see, when you look at Niger and the northern part of Nigeria, they are far north. Let me put it that way. Far northern part of Nigeria. I'm from the Middle Belt, but I'm classified as a Northerner. But my way of life is totally different.
I agree with you. I agree with you. We should never have agreed that the Middle Belt was
modern. Do you know that you are not actually Northerner? Do you know that?
I'm not.
No, she's not Northern. I don't subscribe to that.
Yeah, do you know that? But a lot of people don't know all this history. But because they wanted to actually suppress and
get the landmass. That is why when you look at the Middle Belt envelopes a chunk of what they call the North. So if you're going to lump the Middle Belt together with the North, then I can say, okay, with number.
Abuja now. Abuja is the true center of Nigeria. Geographically, from Abuja north is northern Nigeria. From Abuja down is southern.
We are not north. We are not north.
Definitely. Benue, all those areas.
Even the Abuja is in the Middle Belt. Even the Abuja is in the Middle Belt.
Yes, you can call it Middle Belt if you are trying to define a Middle Belt. Even Kaduna would be called.
So what I'm trying to say is they commandeered those lands and put them to be part of the North for political reasons, for them to have a bigger block, to be able to make arguments over the.
I think part of it was due to the Islamic conquest that was stopped somewhere in Benue, and because of when the British conquered those areas,
it did not go to Benue.
Yeah, I know now. I know what the thieves did now. Are those thieves with their rock throwing antics? They stopped them there. We know that now. So the point is that that's why when the British did what they did, they carved those areas separate from other regions. They are the ones that put this idea that from somewhere from that region is the North, because they call it Northern Protectorate or something, isn't it?
But that is what I'm saying. So it was just to subject the rest of the country under the North, to give the illusion that the North is bigger, more in population, so that whenever it comes to any political bloc or political votes, it kowtows to the North.
Yes. No, but that's what happened, though. That is what happened.
Sorry?
I say, but that is what happened, because if you look at the northern part, the Islamic movement got almost close to Benue, so they expanded to that point. And the British were not thinking about us; they were thinking about themselves. They just wanted to control the territories. That's what they were doing.
So that is why right now there's this confusion. They've made sure that Nigeria will not remain as one. There's no unity, even though our motto says unity and faith. Abi, no unity, no faith. And that is because they made sure that our foundation was faulty.
You know what I think? I think Nigeria as a nation is one of the most balanced that I've seen. It might sound crazy for me because I'm looking at it from more of on a macro level. In terms of no side has total power. No side has it.
Yeah.
It's like you have some and they take the other away. Like the South, they have the oil this thing and they completely emasculated them from power in terms of political power.
But that
even
is
if they have
thing.
the resources.
That is the thing. See, they understood the dynamics. They understood where the power balances are. And they ensured that before they left, they would give the power to the North. So at the end of the day, who owns the power controls the wealth.
But then they don't control anything. We are all just in the same place whereby we are all trying to.
That is why there's the agitation. That is why there's agitation.
See, there is agitation in the UK too. The problem is that we are not functional.
Everywhere. But I'm talking about Nigeria. The agitation is because of the imbalance. The imbalance of wealth.
I think the agitation is because of suffering.
Those that own the wealth are not enjoying the wealth. For example, come to my state, come to Plateau State, come and see people are talking about the wealth in the Niger Delta before they found oil. Where all those urobos that came and landed? They are in Plateau, they are in Jos. Where did that wealth come from?
Madam, can I interject?
Please do.
You see, I allowed to Niger to land. You see where he's hesitating. He's trying to hesitate. The agitation is like it's not everywhere now. Agitation in comparing Nigeria agitation with that agitation of England. Is that what you want? Is that the comparison you want to make?
Yes.
Is that imbalance?
What do you want me to say? You see, the agitation is about livelihood. Most of
Tunaja, let me tell you one thing. Madam, wait. Tunaja, let me tell you one thing. I'm not boastful of what I have done, but I am boastful because of where I have been. And I will tell you categorically clear, the length and breadth of Nigeria, I have traveled up to the extent of Maiduguri. And when it comes to imbalance of the wealth of the nation, it is right there in black and white. You cannot, from the north, own 75% of the oil rig, and the people that own the land own 5%. You are not, wait, let me tell you the imbalance. You are not providing.
Calm your voice.
Okay. You are not providing anything on the round table, but you say you are the person that will provide the presidency of Nigeria. You are saying that leadership is born in you, and we have imbalance. We have poverty in your land, your own domain. And somebody said, we need to educate the Alimajiri. You promptly said they don't need education. You brought in Boko Haram, and you tell us they are good managers of Nigeria as an entity. See, when we try to organize Nigeria and say the truth, this is the reason why the most call for us to sit down the right table. This is the reason why people are flipping their tongue, and that is why I'm saying here that we have not yet come as a country where we take one route and say, let us sit down and iron out our differences. Whether you go gaga, I don't care. Let us sit down and say the poor man must live. The rich man must live equally with the poor man.
Yeah,
definitely there's going to be poverty. Wait, let me finish. Definitely there's going to be poverty somewhere. But we should be able to create a system whereby the lower man should be lifted to the middle class, whereby he can exist as a human being. That is what we are saying. We want a country where there's one rule, one order, one right. Not a country where one side takes
Isn't
all
that
the
what I
wealth.
just said just now that you are
That
arguing
is
against at the same time?
the imbalance is not
Let me
comparable.
just say what I need to say.
Just say
This is
Nigeria
Black
is
Panther.
Nigeria, and
I
don't
think
compare
sometimes you just
anybody.
argue with me for the sake of it without necessarily making much of a different point. The point I made was that most of the issues that people dislike about are agitating for is because of the way our country is being governed. Most of the agitation is coming from that. That's what I said, and that's what you landed upon. And at the same time, in terms of this when I talked about the South, like what you said, the Northerners have most of the oil blocks or something as you put it, but the South gets 13% of all derivation from that. So that's something you can't dodge. You can run all you want. So what other parts of the country don't get that. So it's like you get some in Nigeria, the others you lose. Because what Nigerians tend to do is that they know how to agitate for their rights. And if you do that, because our country needs to hold together and they try to do the right thing by the people to an extent, not a lot, they try to reach a kind of balance. That's what you see. That's why Nigeria is so hard to break apart. It's really so hard because if you want to knock this side out, the other side wants to hold on. If you want to knock the other side, the other side. If not, the South side will be one of the first to want to check out because they have oil resources.
Our diversity is our strength.
Yeah. And I believe me, I've looked at it and I thought this country is going to be hard to break apart. Anybody that wants to break it apart, good luck with that one because the dynamics indicates that the people that are ganging up, the people that are allying with each other, it's like a mosaic. Everybody is like angling over the other, trying, and in the end, it just grabs us together further, and that's what makes it difficult to break Nigeria.
I've got no indication of what part of the country you come from.
Yeah, you don't. Again, that's the beauty now, isn't it? That's
you don't want to share.
Should be the future. I should be the future.
I should be the future where nobody. It gives an indication.
No, I'm from the South. I'm from the South.
So no, I know you are from the South. So I'm just wondering, is it which state?
No, I don't normally share those information because I don't want to be pigeonholed. Because what people do is because even if I told you, it wouldn't even affect my opinion, and that is the problem. And I would rather that is what
for me. To be honest, I see myself. I see myself as the true Nigerian. I'm the melting pot of what is Nigerian. I don't see tribe. I don't see religion. Well, to a degree, I stand by my faith. But in terms of tribe, I go anywhere. I deal with. I've got friends across all aisles. You know, in fact, in my family, it is intermarriage. So if Nigeria is going to break, we don't even know where we will, how we will do it. You understand? Yeah. But where one comes from, that is why I saw a comment, a beautiful comment, I think by Kando. She said something about she doesn't care where the person talking about where the tribe or religion, as long as the best person come out to do the job. But the thing is this, the way Nigeria is, they will never allow the best person to come out and do the job. It is not the best person. They want somebody that can easily be maneuvered, manipulated, that is a proper puppet. I don't think, well, I could be wrong. I think, let me just restrict it to since we started democracy. Even the Obasanjo was also a puppet at some point. Maybe now, because he's no longer the strings are no longer tied to him tightly. He's able to make some independent comments. However, the truth of the matter is, if our leaders are really with us, they should not treat us as babies. It is high time they take us along the journey with whatever challenges that they are facing. If there is a
I think what she said. Sorry. Let me just add to 15 seconds to what she just said. You see, this is why I said the speech Tinubu made at the UN. If he had just tweaked it a little bit and made that speech to Nigerians should be more united today than they are right now. They don't tell our people the truth. He goes to the UN to say it, But when he's talking to Nigerians, he doesn't tell them, you know what, there might be structures that are deliberately put together to make sure we don't develop. He doesn't tell Nigerians that. If he did,
exactly,
Nigerians would be more united against those structures.
So is he also trying to break away?
If you type on Google how much MTN moves out of this country, out of Nigeria.
We made MTN. Nigeria single-handedly made MTN to be who
now. Now, I want you to understand the concept. They are making us think that MTN is helping us, Glow is helping us. But meanwhile, we are the one making these guys richer because we're the one using their services. We are their customers, right? Yeah. But now, they in turn try to make it look like, oh, they're helping us. But every 6 or 5 years, they move out trillions of naira. Under whose watch that contract was signed to move out money? Such money being made in Nigeria, you move it out of the country. That's a contract. Somebody signed that contract. Somebody is benefiting from such contracts.
And it was during Obasanjo's time, no?
Good. During Obasanjo's time. Now, if you live in the United States and you have a company or whatever, you cannot move money out unless you declare what that money is for. If it's going to be for investment, America will put their nose. They will follow you to the letter where that money is going and what that money is doing. If it's going to be for investment or whatever purpose, they're going to follow up that money and the return is coming back to their country. The return is coming back to their country. Now, you can't move money out. Why do we have community development centers? Companies are building factories. They build roads. They build, they give out, they sponsor programs that, sponsor skills, that help poor people, to gain more skills, to fit into the job market. You understand what I'm saying? These are some of the things they do with the money. They don't move the money out and begin to spend the money elsewhere, under our nursery. These guys are mopping money. You go and check every Nigerian using MTN or whatever. What are they benefiting back from MTN? What are we benefiting back from MTN? Nothing.
I think we are getting our ability to make calls with each other is quite a positive, and it makes communication more efficient and more productive. One has to admit that. So they are offering a sense of value.
That's not what I said. I want you to understand it. That's their business. It's business. They're not helping us. It's business. It's pure business.
No,
so you're not going to say because they're doing that.
No, hold on. I don't understand. What are they doing to make you think that they are saying MTN is helping us? Is it just by saying, are they giving MTN any special money?
No, because there's no program that actually help the country. Where is MTN's program that ensure that they're going to be involved in building factories? They're going to be involved in building roads.
Their job is to facilitate communication. If they are not doing it very well, that is what you should.
No, that's not just a job. When you now first thing you do in an advanced world. If you have such business, the first thing the government is going to ask you, what is the community development program you have for our community? Because they know you're coming to make money. You're going to put that on the table. They're going to review that in the house.
I'm sure MTN does a lot of that now. What you're saying,
what they do is who wants to be a millionaire. Now, this is what they do. Who wants to be a millionaire? They give money to few people, like, they give somebody 10 million naira. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about reinvesting back the money into the society.
So I can ask you, what has Shell done? What has all the other oil companies that have been, getting all the natural resources from Nigeria? What have they done? None of them have done much.
No, those ones too. I can still say those ones too. They even try a little bit, but
how are they trying? Can you let me know?
No, because why I say those ones too, they do it a little bit because our people are the one eating the money. Because there's a program. Yes.
So you are excusing people that have been robbing and finishing us off.
I'm not excusing them. What I'm saying is that
you are blaming the one that is providing phone service for us more.
No, what I'm saying is that our own people, I know some of those programs, the roads that share builds, the roads, the community programs that they're doing, but our people hijack those services. I understand that one. I could say, okay, share try to do this one. Our people hijacked it and they are making use of it.
See, I say this to you, and you have to consider this, because if you look at the UK now, there's this phone network that they call EE. I don't see EE running to Nigeria to go and help Nigeria's, or not even help, do business in Nigeria. If MTN comes into Nigeria to do business, you should be grateful that people are coming in to invest.
No,
And they are,
no, 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 no,
if
that's
you
not
have
true.
issues with they are charging us, if you have
No,
issue with their service, I
no,
can
that's not
understand.
true.
But I
That's
don't
not
understand
true.
when somebody's offering
See,
value, you are fighting them.
Tunaja,
That's not
you
true.
see, Tunaja, let me touch it, please. Tunaja, you see the kind of thought you have. You don't want to learn. You don't want to learn the process which he is saying now. But you are just saying that what benefit? You are just flipping it over. Madam, please let me speak again.
I feel that our language sometimes can be offensive.
Madam, no language, not language. We are adults here. We are adults. We are adults. When somebody is making a point,
I think she's right. Black Panther, you just come in from one, and then you just make blanket statement.
Madam, allow me to talk before you jump into my issue. When you understand where I'm coming from, I'm not insulting anybody. I'm using the right language, which I know deals best.
You hear yourself.
Madam, look. You don't when you are listening to people speaking, you look at what this man is saying and what the other man is saying. The understanding of the other man is like this. This is the way it's being done. And you as a person, you don't know that way. You should be able to learn and be able to analyze that way. If it's profitable. If the word, madam, let me learn now. You see the gold past tense.
You come across Black Panther.
Madam,
let her say something, then you say something.
Madam, please, let me say something, please. I am, if you know where I am coming from, I have felt Nigeria very well. It's not a matter of you just saying because Nigeria is because of this politics. I've been following, I've been in politics. I know the pain. I dwell in that pain before I left Nigeria. I dwell richly in it. So when somebody is saying something that will benefit the people, especially the people itself, everybody should pay focus on that. What is the benefit? What is the benefit of MTN?
If you are in the politician's position,
what is the benefit of MTN?
The way you speak, they give you the power. You are coming. You always come and give the impression that you are.
Madam, I've been listening to everybody since.
You don't know my pedigree. You don't.
Madam,
or you've been condescending towards me since.
Madam,
I'm just interjecting to say, tone down your rhetoric. Tone it down.
Madam, there's no rhetoric here. There's no rhetoric here. I know Tunaja. I know Tunaja very well.
You know me here. You don't know me very well. I don't know why you keep saying
Tunaja will come here and say something like that. Man. He will never see your point and flow with your point if it's positive.
Actually, address your point. You don't address my point.
My brother here said one thing. He said in America, you must be able to state what benefit for that company. What are the benefits to that area you are locating your company in? Has Nigeria signed that agreement with them? Rather, they are signing agreement with personal people that will float money out of the country. That is the agreement they are signing in Nigeria. When you are in management,
you know, Tinubu has gone round.
I've never had that in the
UK. In America, when you are citing your company in a locality, you must be able to express yourself and tell the people the benefit, direct benefit that will affect their life. Because
no,
that's
actually, that is not the case. You know, one
that
of the
is what I'm
benefits.
saying, that you are not understanding where this man is coming from.
Okay, see, let me. I think there is a scale here. There are certain companies. I agree with you. There are certain companies that will come to certain areas, like oil companies or companies that mine natural resources, and actually they create a lot of low,
it's not just companies that mine natural resources or whatever.
It's not
Now,
just. I just said there are certain types of companies that do these things.
These are programs. You have every company, no matter how small.
You just interrupted me. Can I finish saying what I'm saying before you interrupt me? See, there are companies that do that. Like in the UK now, I don't see anybody bothering the EE company that does telecommunication, what they are going to do for their locality, or Sky Digital that provides digital TV to people, or what they are going to do. Even the only monopoly company that used to own the water supply in the UK, nobody's asking it to what is it going to do for the neighborhood. So I don't know where this idea come from that if you are offering value as a service, you still have to do other things.
Tunaja, that's not true. Tunaja, UK where you are. Tunaja, UK where you are. We have Tunaja, UK where you are. We have companies in the UK. Before you commence, except it's not a big company, except it's just a small company. All right.
Then tell me what EE does. Tell me what EE does.
Before you commence activities, you have what's called community programs that you must submit to the locality. Community program.
I don't think it's always necessary. I don't think it's always necessary. It depends on the situation. And
you say you don't think it's necessary. How do you
not always? It's not always. I'm not saying it's not necessary. It's not always necessary.
Who thought it's not always? It's always.
There are always that are exempted from all this. It's not always.
It is a necessity, unless it's not a big company, unless it's not a company.
If you say so, tell me what EE does in wherever they are located. Then.
Community program. Okay. Now you have EE. Go to their websites. Go to their website. You can find some of the things. Yes, their community programs. You're gonna see it. It's not a hidden stuff.
That is PR. That is PR.
Exactly. It's not a requirement that you have to.
They're doing PR for themselves.
Does it make sense that Nigerians are suffering? Companies like MPN, Glow, you understand? They are pulling out trillions of dollars.
You can't use Western standards to be judging everything, and most of those companies don't have to do anything to anybody.
You that is talking. Do you have money? You are asking your government. Your government is a policy.
I want to clarify certain facts. So with EE, you say when they have some programs that they roll out. What kind of programs are they? Are they community enhancing programs in line with their social responsibility? Because most of these big organizations tend to roll out programs that will showcase them as a socially responsible organization. And that is what MTN also does very well in Nigeria. They also show themselves as socially responsible and tag themselves to other social responsible organizations or charities, or do one or two things, And I think that is what
I don't see any. See, let me look at the e-community activity. I'm looking at their website right now. The only thing that they have for e-community activity is basically like online forum where they discuss issues relating to their devices. Nothing to do with national stuff. They don't. I don't understand how we can. The website is right there. You can check it up yourself.
What do you mean that they don't? It's something to do with their whatever. Now, hold on.
They call what they call e-community is like forum where they type. When people have issues with their device, they type it. The people come back and discuss what is happening with the device. They have what they call student and key workers.
What piece of is trying to articulate? What piece of is trying to articulate is that, however they practice, they are more ethical in their service delivery. And that is one thing I will argue. I don't see MTN as ethical at all. It is all about the money.
No, let me say, Madam Busy Brain.
And the same thing goes for EE too. Believe me,
Madam Busy Brain, let me
shady things.
Hold on. When Elon Musk wanted to buy Twitter, they asked him, the Twitter is about $40-something billion. He said, okay, he's going to raise about maybe $20-something billion and borrow the rest money from the bank, right? Now, They asked him, the journalist asked him, you are the richest man in the whole world. How come you don't just pull out the money? Do you know what he said? He said it's an asset. The money is an asset, which means in America, there's a policy. If you're making money, you invest money back to the system. So it's
So
an
that is
asset.
the ethics we
That
are
does
talking
not have
about.
the
That is
question.
the ethics. That is the ethical issues that we are
Yes,
talking
now you
about.
invest money
But
back into the system.
but
That's what I'm talking.
that is enshrined in
These are programs. You invest the money back into the system.
it's
Now,
not
if
a
you don't invest the money back into
program,
the
it's a
system,
policy.
you are
It's not
moving
a
the money out
program.
of the country.
It's a policy that for every this is what the policy says. So every company that comes in or that is coming up in America would have to
Some
adhere
places
to
in the
that.
United States were built by private organizations.
Sorry?
They collect money as toll. That is their program.
See, some companies choose to do trust, charity trust, whatever they want to do. They choose to do it. It's
Charity
not
is different.
necessary.
Charity is different. Anybody could do charity
That is the
work.
social responsibility now. They
That's a
choose
social
to do it.
that charity
They
is completely
choose,
different. I'm
they
talking
choose to
about
do
a
it.
program, a policy made by the government to ensure that there is always job creation continuously in the
And that is
country.
That is part of a government's job now to help create jobs.
But that's what I was accusing the government of. I'm accusing the government of not putting a policy.
Can I come in here? You see,
Yes.
when a company is established in your country, a multinational company, billions of dollars, and they make profit worth about billions of dollars yearly, and they don't reinvest certain percentage which the country wants for them to reinvest into the country, and they take the 100% of that in that profit and take it outside the country, you are depriving your country of so many things. One, your dollar, whatever you save in your central bank, a lot of things will be happening to affect your dollars. It will affect a lot of things in your country. How can you allow a multinational company to take out $100 billion, $200 million out of your economy?
Who said that
I
they
don't
are taking it
understand.
out of the
I
Nigerian
don't
economy?
know. Yeah, they are taking it out.
They're taking it out. That's what they're doing.
South Africa.
No one is reinvesting the money back.
$200 million out of the Nigerian economy.
They are not. I don't see.
Then how did they manage to expand all over the country?
Is their money now?
It's not. Look, madam, go and check the model, American model.
Let me check how much EE made.
A capitalist state does not allow you to carry 100% of your profit out of the country.
About 6 million. 6 trillion. 6 trillion naira. About 6 trillion naira that they moved out of the country as profit. As profit.
And how much did they leave behind in Nigeria for what
zero. The reinvestment is for them. The investment they have is for them.
It was debated. They fought over it. Nigeria, the former, I think, finance minister was angry about this thing that happened. You don't move that. Then, I think that was during Jonathan's time. I think I still remember that
during Jonathan's time, they argued it out.
Yes, Ugozo Kojo-Wela was kind of like saying that it was going to make our dollar to go up because they're moving that money out of the country. That everything is going to affect prices of things in the market or even on
dollars. They'll move it in dollars.
No, when they want to move it, they have to change it to dollars. That's what they do.
That's what I'm saying, and it goes in dollars, which is our own.
Yes, they move in dollars now.
But in Nigeria, it's about 6 trillion naira. So if you convert that to dollars, then you understand the amount they are moving out in dollars. So why your currency will continue to go down? So if you're moving this dollar out, always.
The discussion of this particular section of this discussion is just to say we need to get our government to be accountable by putting in laws in place that will make any investor come in and ensure that certain things are in place
So
that
at
would
least reinvest 50% of your profits back into this society.
not to take all the profits out.
You took everything out. At least reinvest 50% of your profits back into the society.
Yeah,
You can decide.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
You understand that? At least reinvest back 50% of your profit. If you made $6 trillion, reinvest back 3 trillion.
I think the problem is that depending on the agreement they have, what they tend to do is they pay dividends to their shareholders, and that is why they had the capital to come and invest in the first place. So
at the expense of Nigerians,
I think that is where the problem is. If the money is leaving the country,
that is where the ethics coming. That is where the ethics coming, and that is what the American system or the British system. I think there is an ethics. Some of the British will not allow.
I think, to be fair, I think we were having that same problem with Google and Facebook and all these people, where people are complaining that they headquarter their companies in another country and make profit in other countries. This was a big problem, and I don't think they've even fixed it till now. So this is the nature of high-level multinational companies. This is why they make so much money, because the controls on them, most nations can't do it on their own.
I think Google have fixed theirs. That is why they are flowing now. They have fixed their own. Because you cannot be making much. You cannot be making much from a country whereby the country is not really getting anything from you per se. So that is getting
come to an arrangement. They have not fixed it. They just come to arrangement. They never fixed it.
Do you know that if MTN is investing 3 trillion naira back into the society, maybe into production, do you think you have jobless people like this, more jobless people on the street? You're not going to have that. At least people will be employed. People will have a place to work.
Will even be better. If they employ, reinvest and make sure that they are masked and all those technological things. I don't know the terms for them to make sure that the networks are all clear. You know, the high fiber.
Yeah,
that would make sense. And
because they don't invest because they don't invest the money back into the country, and the country is in big trouble. There's poverty everywhere. There's so much poor people on the street every day. People are just hustlers, like hustling. They're just hustling. People don't even know what to eat, where to eat. People no longer eat meat or fish because it's too expensive. Now dollar is 1,000 plus. What a world! What a country!
That's what happens now when you have people that are running the country for other people.
That's what happens when you have a very smart selected president.
They chose him. Now, you see, the foreigners are very happy with his policy, but Nigerians are suffering. And this is what happens now.
Your voice don't come down now, B.
This is what happens when your leader goes and start dancing with foreign leaders, and we are happy. People don't complain about it.
Over 1,000 naira. What are we talking about? $1. One.
Yeah, it's coming because our people, if you think about it, strictly thinking about it, you have to blame Nigerians for this, because they are the ones that are creating the demand, because they want to buy things overseas. If the demand was not so high, which the government should have done something about, that encourage Nigerians to buy Nigeria and manufacture Nigeria.
You got it wrong. It is the government policy that encourages them to buy things abroad. Look at China. Their policy, you cannot use iPhone in China except their own phone now.
Isn't that what I just said? That Nigerian government should be encouraging Nigerians to be buying Nigeria.
That is why you don't need to blame the people.
But hold on now. But Nigerians too are. If they didn't tell, to be fair, you can say that. I guess that's a fair argument. They don't blame the people, but the people are the ones that create these leaders. Because I said it a moment ago, When you see your leader dancing in front of Macron and all these people, you think they are not governing for you, and we think it's a good thing when we should be recognizing it for what it truly is. And then when they come and pass a rule that completely devalues our currency, we start wondering where the trouble is coming from. Oh, is the government's fault? Is the government's fault? Maybe we should be complaining earlier on. So part of it is that we have to reduce the demand for foreign currency. One, you have to reduce imports to an extent. Strategic ones, the ones that are not very important to Nigeria, that are just basically like some people order pizza and all that nonsense. That we shouldn't be spending dollars ordering those kind of stuff.
Who order pizza?
Believe me, you'll be surprised what Nigerians are doing out there with money. They also have pizza. You don't know what are they order from overseas? Yeah, so they will order it from overseas and for it to be delivered the next morning. So those type of things, you want to not cut it out, like ban it. You want to increase charges on them so that Nigerians can earn money out of those and reduce their demand. So when you do that, and you also encourage Nigerians to buy Nigerian, as you see, so you can reduce, if you dent it by 20%. This effect that you are seeing here is not going to be it's not going to be like this anymore. But they just leave the gates open so that foreign speculators can come and speculate on our currency. Do you know hedge funds? They are worth about $4.7 trillion in the world. And their literal job, what makes them money is to bet on something failing and something doing badly. So they can come, buy up a lot of our currencies and do their magic on selling it, then crash the currency. You see what I mean? They will create demand and crash the currency. Yeah, so they can make money, and this is what the government opened our country to.
It impacts who dies in the process, because
and the funny thing is that it didn't change much really, because there is still dual exchange rate. There is one that they sell for 700 or something, or 800 or something, and the other one is 1,000 something. What is the big difference? You just move the deck in this thing, and the situation still remains the same. It just shows you the kind of policies that our leaders are pursuing that are not well thought through. What do you mean they are not well thought through? They are well thought through. They are just there sabotaging us. I've been saying this.
They are sabotaging us. Leaders are just there acting somebody's script. Because
that's a problem.
Understand, when they go to when they leave that Abuja and they go to their constituency, don't they see the things that need to be done? Don't they see the poverty? Their one salary for a month, like those senators, will revive the community that they claim they are representing. All those allowances that they give them, they even share it by half, which is 10 times too much for them. That society will be revived. None of them have that heart, even if they went with good intention. What is going on in that place? What is going on that corrupts every leader that goes in there? What is going on? The good, the bad, and the ugly, once they get there, they become the worst of us.
They become corrupted before they get there. See, they become corrupted before they get there, because there is this thing that happens when you start rising up the chain in Nigerian politics about aligning yourself to some of these leaders, and then you start seeing the dynamics that start playing out. That okay, this one has to send their child to this country, this one has to go this way, and this is how they get corrupted. Before you make it to that top,
because the policy, they are allowing a useless body like INEC to make electoral policies a whole country. Can you imagine, or am I dreaming it, that they've increased the ticket, how much you would buy for local government chairman? Am I wrong? 94 million. Am I wrong?
That is nothing to them.
But is that not discouraging? They're trying to discourage us.
That's got
it's targeting obedience.
But they will targeting people like us. On you.
They don't care about that. All these people care about is trying to fit into the narrative that they believe in. They really believe in this thing. Look at our lawyer. When we ask them why are they wearing that their white hat, they would defend it to death. Like, because it's a good uniform, it gives us authority. And they would defend it to anything. Even if you tell them that, see, this symbolism, what it means is that you're wearing a white man's hair. Black people
black people wearing white people's head in Nigeria.
The
I need
laws,
that
the laws
password
that they
now.
are using, that the
They
laws
go
that
ask
they are
me.
practicing is largely derived from the British law.
Let me get the password.
So if they
You
are
need to
using
mute your mic,
Yeah.
Black Panther.
we are hearing your
Sorry.
secret to Black Panther.
Before you go and tell us
Sorry.
your PIN number and password.
So you know the truth of it is the British system. We adopted the British law. So if we have adopted the British law, so the regalia is also adopted. Because how can we be practicing British law and then we'll be wearing our own African regalia? Everything needs an overhaul, not just the regalia.
We need to rename the country. I think the other day somebody wrote that the government needs to rename the country. We have not even renamed our own country. We barely redefined that much. So there's a lot. It's not even a lot of stuff. It's just that we just haven't woken up to our responsibility as a nation. Are we even a nation? I'm telling you, when you look at the way this country is run, I say it all the time. We are just a colony. And a kind of a neo colony, if you want to call it that.
The problem in Nigeria
a confused set of politicians. They have no solutions to the problem, and they don't care.
Tunaja, you remember when we started at the beginning? We were saying that we are not a nation. You know, you didn't believe that fact at the beginning until this election landed on our head.
No. I think you have to contextualize it. You see, where I was talking from right now was based on the fact that our leaders are completely controlled and we have not done all the things to take charge of our nation. It doesn't mean, okay, from the point of view of international recognition, we are not a nation. We are still a nation, obviously. We have a passport, we have governments.
It's the same thing here. It's the same thing we've been arguing. What you are saying now, it's what we have been saying.
I guess if that is the context you are coming from, because the context when people say this thing is maybe because the government is not governing very well, or they are agitating. So that's the context they tend to come from. So when they say that, that's when I disagree with them. That it doesn't mean that we are not binded as a people. But in terms of my context, is that because our leaders are betraying us and they've not done what they needed to do to build a strong nation, then I can still come and say, are we even a nation? Because it's like a new colonial territory. I think that kind of statement, I can see why you think the way you think about it, because it's very tricky for people to be making that kind of statement. That's why I try to use different type of words to just say, are we a nation? I normally don't talk like that if you look at the way I talk, because I know that so you read it your own way, some other person will read it another way, and I try to add context to it.
No, I you know what I'm saying. What you are saying is what we've been saying for long. But sometimes, you know, when emotion is attached to this thing, and a lot of people Nigeria has really dealt with a lot of us in diaspora, and when you now say we are not yet a country, they are speaking from the same point you are speaking from. That is why they don't want to hear anything but for you to argue, how are we going to be a country? Let us start the process so that we don't divide, because if we continue in this trajectory, there is a possibility that there will be an uprising, because there's a limit. It might be that the limit which Nigeria will be pushed is quite different from the limit which somebody from Ethiopia or Venezuela will be pushed. So
let me tell you, if there's a limit today, for example, if Nigeria got angry today and flood the street, believe me, there will be no Nigeria again. Just believe me. They will never going to fight to restore Nigeria. They're just going to fight to divide the country. Like, go your way, we go our way. That's just be the mindset of Nigeria.
What you just said just now is it reflects the poisonous conditioning that our people have put.
You understand? So because our people's
we are designed to fight each other. We have been conditioned to fight each other instead of thinking about fighting the people that created that are aiding our downfall. So that is the condition. And I see
that is exactly
if you want to see a revolution that will work, it should start from an issue that unites the country. If if you have something that brings that Northerners hate, the Southerners hate, Southwestern, everybody hates, and the leaders don't pick up on it on time to plug that gap. If the country this explodes in that form, you will see the kind of revolution you've never seen before. That even the North will not care about religion, the South will not care about tribe, and you see them change the country. Pardon?
Based on our personal assessment, it will be difficult for the Southern for the Southerners and the Northerners to operate in one direction. It's just my personal opinion, my personal assessment.
I think I see it is difficult if we are not engaging. The moment you talk to them,
because you know why? Because for example, the Southern Nigeria being controlled by the pastors, the bishops, and some of the imams. Why the Northern Nigeria be controlled by their imams and their emirs?
No, that's not how it works. I think our problem is that we talk in silos. Everybody, like how many Northerners are here now? We are 6 of us here from Nigeria, but not one Northerner. We talk in silos. That's the problem.
No, I'm not a Northerner now. I'm in Middle Belt.
You don't count. You are geographically a Southerner. You're a Southerner.
How am I a Southerner? From Plateau State.
But
I thought you were from Benue. Actually, I thought you were from Benue.
Are you aware that Northerners listen to this program?
The same state, Benue, Plateau. They just divided.
Tunaja, I think you need to apologize to Mother Busy Brain. She can't.
Now you're asking for apology. You don't even let her ask for apology. You are asking for her now.
Am I not right?
Am I not right?
What did I do now? I thought you were from Benue.
You said she doesn't count. You said she doesn't count.
I'm not trying to take your identity from you. If I did, apologies. See, point I want to make
is the melting pot.
Tunaja, I'm asking you, are you aware that Northerners listen to this program? Why are they not coming on board to discuss the issue of Nigeria?
Many Southerners talk about them as if it's like a conspiracy that they are designed to destroy this country.
You see, the thing is this, right? Northerners, it's not everybody that has the verbose to come out and speak. They have their own, but maybe public speaking might not necessarily be their own, but they retain their views. I'm telling you, I was talking to a very good friend of mine who is based in Adamawa State, and he even engaged in politics, you know. And he's also a person of the press. He's a media person, and he told me that Obi won in Adamawa State, but because it is Atiku's base, they muzzled it out of LP's hand.
You will see how this television clear.
Sorry,
yeah, will catch you.
You said
this one at television you will talk to. Oh,
sorry. He talks to us.
Trying to watch you guys from television.
Members. Oh, okay. So you see, because they don't really come out to talk, I can guarantee you the whole of Middle Belt were definitely for maybe LP. I cannot concrete 100% say it, but if a state like Adamawa, that has also a lot of Christians, but they also have a lot of Muslims. I don't really know the percentage, you know, but if they are saying that Obi won, then what about Taraba that is predominantly Christian? Then what about Plateau State that is predominantly Christian?
The problem is that nobody has provided us any concrete evidence of this thing. This is what frustrates me so, and because of this court case, nobody's providing us evidence of stuff to talk about. Because
they're not going to give you. If you put a gun to their head, they won't tell you.
INEC has got his data out there, and but Labour Party don't seem to have their data out there. So,
that is another thing. That is another.
Labour supporters are handicapped.
But why did he take INEC? Why did he take INEC months before they put out the data?
I have my own critique. Please.
Why did it take them months?
Yeah,
No,
Do you
they,
think they're supposed to?
they announced it now. They announced it when they declared him. That's their data.
let
They
us
just
let us let
No,
announced.
us hold on.
that's not how it's that was not see, number one. INEC gave out a guideline. If you've changed the guideline, this is my big problem with INEC. If you've changed the guideline, why didn't you communicate it back to the parties and to Nigerians? Oh, okay, this is the new guideline and this is what was happening. You just announce results just because you said the constitution gave you power to do whatever you like. So when we were moving on a particular, that's the system we're talking about. You told us to move in a particular direction, and then you changed from that direction, and we didn't know what was happening. So there was no communication, there was no, information. So you started doing whatever you like. That's not how system works. That's not how to,
I think that it's. I think the law was supposed to compel INEC to prove that there was no kind of malpractice, but somewhere along the line, the whole thing was twisted again on his head for Labour Party to provide all the evidence the other way around. I think somebody was reading the Constitution saying that if somebody makes a complaint, INEC should be the one to prove that they did everything right. But somewhere along the lines, he flipped on his head again, and then Labour Party followed and went to try to prove the evidence, the contrary. So that is a heavy lift for such a short period of time. As a matter of fact, everything that PWB has done has been a heavy lift. From 8 months, he technically won 12 states in the country. And then you then to deal with INEC again, instead of INEC to provide the evidence, he has to provide the evidence. So everything then you see the way the judges were behaving.
Please hear me out. Let me ask this question. Pardon my ignorance if it is already out there in the open. So the LP, what do they call them? Polling units, guys that went to the polling unit. Did they not take their own records?
They must have.
So, if they have taken their own records, did they submit it to the hierarchy within the Labour Party? Because we should have been hearing the total in each state. While INEC has brought their own results, LP should have also been broadcasting their own results from what they have. And it is now
said
going
the same
to be,
thing, but nobody.
Sorry?
I said, why are they not giving us their own
Yeah.
numbers?
So it is now going to be a case between INEC and LP. This is the result that we have as LP, and this is the result that INEC is claiming. And if INEC is disputing the result that LP is producing, then they should prove it. The onus will now be on INEC to prove it.
Yeah, thank you for asking this question. Sometimes we reserve some information, we reserve some statement, not information anyway, some statement. We decide not to make some statement because we just want to see the outcome in the APC courts. You see, if you listen to that judgment, the judges were accusing Labour Party's lawyers of not giving them evidence and of not telling them what they score.
Exactly, and that is why I'm
thinking now that was in the judgment. That was where I also said that. Are you sure? Why wouldn't they tell them how many scores they got? So even though, because you understand Nigerians very well. Nigerians don't read. If Labour parties were thinking that judges were going to read all those things and start computing those numbers together, believe me, they may not even open those things. I'm just telling the truth. They may not open those documents.
There is also something that is telling me that our lawyers is either they are self-sabotaging, but something is telling me that they should have known. Even me will know that I need to break it down. That I know that these people will not sit down in their own distance.
You must have given a summary and a figure.
So I will need to spoon feed them, the lawyers, the judges. So
exactly the information that they need.
Yes, so I want to believe that our lawyers are
when they
playing.
give out those figures,
Please let me land. I want to believe that our lawyers are being strategic. I could be affording them some intelligence that they might not have, but I want to believe that it's a conscious effort, it's a strategy, because they knew the outcome of what the judges were going to do. So they have a kitty in their pocket to go and display in the High Court. Because when you hear other
the Supreme Court, you
analysis,
mean?
sorry,
But they are not allowed
any
further evidence now.
No, they are not going to. But then that is this same evidence. They brought it now, but the judges did not go through it. So they will not make sure that the Supreme Court go through it by spoon feeding them. You understand?
You see those pile of documents. I can guarantee you the judges didn't go through it.
That's
I can guarantee you that.
So I want to believe that our lawyers had a motive for not spoon feeding them at this stage, because even if they spoon fed them, they will still come out with this judgment.
My assumption would have been give them the figure and then let Anne come and defend the figures.
That is what they will now go and do in the High Court, in the Supreme Court.
No, Anne should, and I don't know. Are they going to be allowed now to include those figures? That's one thing I don't know, because I'm not a lawyer.
We will not allow them to include numbers that are evidence, except in exceptional circumstances.
No. Hold on. It's not issue of including figures. They have submitted their evidence. That is the evidence. That is it. Because ideally the judges should go through it. It's because of the time constraint.
But judges are not going to go through all of those documents, but they're going to go through the summary of it. If you give them all the summary, you understand what I'm saying? You just give them all the summary. They will go through all the summary and they will just pick out some the important ones.
They are paid to go through the judgment, to go through evidence. It's evidence. How are you sure that I'll give you the summary and I do not doctor the summary?
I'm telling you, Nigeria,
as I am talking to you.
If you listen to those judgments,
can I just say something quickly? Can I just say something quickly about this judgment? I think because I've not had a chance to say that here. I think no matter what the judgment was, the conduct of the judges were just abysmal.
Oh, that's not without saying.
They were not judges. Those guys were.
They undermined the judgment itself. Their behavior was so unprofessional. It's unbelievable. I don't even understand. If that is how Nigerian judges behave, you wonder why our country is in a mess, because the psychology of these elites is just out of whack. You are trying to pass the judgment in the country.
That is because the judges did not write it. That was APC talking.
Even if it's APC talking, are they so stupid themselves? If you want to pass a judgment and you want, if you really care about your country, you just pass it right in the middle and say, you know what, I don't agree with you. This is what I agree with. Not just start saying the other people ridiculous. Sancti, all kind of like, oh, you are hitching your hope on this one. You wanted to go and do internet research for you. Oh, it's like, what is that? Like, what kind of judges are these? It's like, this is a nation you are passing a judgment on a very divisive election.
They were jokers. They were not judges. They were just jokers.
They completely undermined their judgment with the attitude. Unbelievable. It's like they took it personal. They were just insulting the other side repeatedly. It's like, what kind of judgment is that? It's not mature at all. I'm like, this is your job. You're supposed to be professional. Some of the things they were saying, you can tell that they were really be annoyed by the so-called obedience statements online. It's like, why are you annoyed?
That's why I said they never have read those documents. Because if they've read those documents, believe me, maybe they may not have talked like that, or maybe they may have not have given judgment like that. They never have read those documents.
Well, then why are they reading it in public then? When you stay sitting, is calling people ridiculous and all the rest, maybe you should stop and say this document is not properly written. You just come on national TV and start lying people with all kinds of insults.
They would have been equipped with secretaries to support them in going through in going through those evidence. While I agree that they should have spoon-fed them the evidence, yeah. However, it is the judge's responsibility to go through the evidence. But the fact that the LP lawyers did not spoon-feed them, I want to believe there is a motive, a strategy behind it. I don't want to be where they were that daft, because even me, when I was looking at those evidence, I was thinking in my head that they would, I just assumed that LP would break it down. I did not think that they would go through. I would be expecting them to go through that. I'll be mapping it. I'll process map all the evidence for them to go through, to make it easily and is digestible for them to take in. So if lay people like us can think like that, I'm sure the lawyers would have thought it. And there is a reason why they didn't do it, because they didn't want to play all their cards. Now, yes, we are going to Supreme Court. I don't think it is any new evidence if they now break it down, because it has already been submitted. What they have done is to make it digestible for the judge to go through.
What with judgment? These are professional lawyers. I believe they should have known. You don't play with, you play all your cards at first entrance judgment.
No.
That's my belief, because
you don't play all your cards first time. No. That is even fatal strategy. Then
because my point is, and in a situation where you have no chances of modifying your documents, then
you put all your best cards there.
You put all your best cards, because if you knew that there are no chances of you modifying this document, once you submit it, that's it. So you have to put everything you got.
That is why I'm saying it is the duty of the judges to go through the evidence. If the judges will not go through the evidence, then permit me to break it down for you. That is the evidence. That is it. And it is wrong of them.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying that our judges don't read. I know these guys, they don't read.
They shouldn't be giving judgments.
Oh God! If you knew the mess we're in, the country is in. If you knew the mess Nigeria is in, oh God, you might not understand what I'm saying now. Nigeria is in a very big mess. You could see it in the lives of even ordinary Nigerians on the street. Politicians' behavior affect the ordinary man on the street.
I don't know whether it's a only politician thing. Maybe it's a Nigerian culture where we even when people are down, we kick them. It's like we are sore winners. You can't even win gracefully anymore. Like, look at the judgment, the attitude. For me, I felt like when they come out, they are going to be let me finish the point I'm making. Let me finish the point. I thought they were going to come out and be very somber and make the judgment down the line. If this side is wrong, you say, because it's a very sensitive situation. You don't know whether the people are going to rush on the street. There might be bloodshed for all you know. But no, these guys, they were not in any illusion about the craziness they were about to say. They didn't care. They just came out, started insulting one side, and it's like, I'm telling you, man, obedience are some of the most disciplined political movement going, because I've never seen any movement that mature in the way they approach politics. Otherwise, they will end up on the street tearing the whole place up. Yes. And these judges didn't care. They just came out. It's like they were goading them. Tear the street up. I dare you. It's like insulting them constantly. It's like, what is that? To me, their behavior is just unbecoming. I fear that if I go to court case in Nigeria, they are going to come after me before this is how serious I'm making.
That is the reason why. That is the reason why. What I've seen throughout this process since the election, and they gave it since the announcement of the result, they hungrily, desperately want Nigerians to go on the streets, so that they will teach Nigerians a lesson once and for all and keep us quiet and in fear. Imagine if we had gone on the street. Do you think that we would be emboldened and empowered to carry on online?
Maybe the Nigerian youths are busy thinking about Mohbad and other things. Maybe they were so distracted. Who knows? See, maybe they know that most of our people have jackpot. Some of them have jackpot. The best minds have jackpot, and the others are working for people overseas. You know, there are a lot of Nigerians working online. The economy is not capturing these people. This is why, look at Mubad, what happened to him. You see youths come out, but their country will be, election will go one way or the other. You will not see them. Many
You
of
know
these
what?
people,
You know why? Because we're divided on a tribal line and on a religious line. See,
how is Mubad religious?
no, I'm talking about why we're not coming out. Mobad is a celebrity, so on both sides, everybody love him. That Nigerians don't care. But when it comes to politics, Nigerian politics is built on a tribal, on a tribal
We
platform.
allow them to divide us. That's what we need
Yeah,
to change.
that's what I'm saying. We allow them. Why we go to it? I mean, because we have people we listen to. We'll be trained to listen to people. So we'll not be trained to reason on our own. We'll be trained to listen to people, to allow people to talk to us, to convince us, to tell us what to do, how we run our lives. That's why we're in this mess. That's why we're in this mess, because we have been programmed to reason the way we reason. This one is Omoyoba. This one, okay. In the first instance, how did we get into that mess that you have some people called Omoyoba, you have other people called Omoibo, Omo Asa, Omo Fulani, Omo everything, Omo this, Omo that, Omo. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then look at during the election, some people came out telling other tribes not to vote a particular candidate, otherwise we're going to come for you. You see, in a country where we have military, in a country where we have security agency, different, different. You know what I'm saying? You have different security outfits in Nigeria, and somebody could publicly come out on air, tell the whole Nigeria that this is the person I want you to vote. Otherwise, I'm going to tear down. Can you say that in a developed country? Can you?
You see, that's the kind of time I expected someone like Wole Soyinka to come out and say, this is not the country we are building. Where
He
people
doesn't
come out and
care.
threaten others. He didn't come out then. Then it's
He
when the
doesn't
obedience
care.
complain, then he accused them of possible being fascist. This is our leaders, our political class and our elite class. We forget these are the same people that sold the elite class are the ones that sold our people as slaves and everything. Then Oyibo came, colonized them, taught them how to be like them, and then they left and they carried on from where the Oyibo people left. These people don't really care about the people. They just care about the only people they care about are the people that they see as their superiors. That's the Europeans. That's the ones. That's why they brainwashed all of us to see Europeans as a place to go. That's where we need to be, and they govern for them. How can a senior person like Wole Soyinka not know what was that his name? The guy that was saying that people should not go out to vote in Lagos. What is that his name again? Very mischievous name. So how can MT Oluomo, how can he not know what MT Oluomo was saying? He knew about it. He could have just come out immediately. And many Nigerian leaders didn't come out during that time. I really, really cursed them for that, because what kind of wicked people are these? You see your people being divided and you stay quiet.
To Nigeria is because we don't have security system. Our security system is not working. Let me tell you, let me use America as an example. If somebody makes such statement online, threatening, before you finish, no matter who you are, before you finish making that threat, police is already at your door. Straight away, they will wait for you to finish making your threat, and they will bundle you. Yeah, they will tell you. They will tell you to go on.
Let's have a conversation.
They will tell you to go on. Just go on. Just go on. You finish making the threat, and they will bundle you. Nobody will come for your rescue. You see that?
I'm telling you, by the time you do the paperwork involved in that thing, you will swear never to say that again. Just by the time you fill one form after the other, come to one office after the other, you will swear to make that mistake again. Western countries, they don't play around now.
And then the police will charge you. They will even tell the judge that you are dangerous to the society. It's likely they're going to take you to a kind of, psychiatric storm. You know what I'm saying? To spend some months.
You see, the other day. Sorry, busy. I was kidding around. I wouldn't say I was kidding around. When people were talking about Nnamdi Kanu didn't do anything, now they should release him, and the Nigeria government just arrested him and brought him back. I was like, There are countries out there that won't even bring him back. They will just do away with him. They will not even bring him back to Nigeria. And recently, just this week, if I'm not mistaken, the Canadians are accusing the Indians of getting rid of somebody that was causing problems in their country. And the Russians have been known to do it. Saudi Arabia has been known to do it. Even the UK. And when I tell our people this sometimes, that nations, when they are operating as nations, they don't take nonsense from anybody that is threatening their stability. They don't take
No,
nonsense from it.
you don't say you don't. They don't say that. Like I don't say if people just want to beg for Kanu to be released, it's understandable. But if you say Kanu never did anything wrong, it means that
That's the
you
one
and I
that
will
gets to
lie.
me. That's the one
You
that
and
gets
I
to me.
will lie to ourselves too. Of course, we know that Kanu said a lot of things that were wrong in Nigeria, which is the things we're also saying now. You understand what I'm
You
saying?
will be
Of course, we
surprised.
know that
Grown
everybody
men
know
will
that.
come
But
online and say Kanu
yeah,
did nothing wrong.
for
He did not.
someone to
I'm
say
like,
that
oh, you saw
Kanu
him
did
say those
nothing
things.
wrong. I'm not saying that the Nigerian government should not release him, but for you to tell us that Kanu did nothing wrong. I understand court has released him, but I'm against the Nigerian government for not releasing him. If court said he did nothing wrong, well, okay, that's fine. You understand? Why not obey the court? Because you
Yeah.
need to obey the court. You understand what I'm saying? So if court said we didn't find anything wrong with him, okay, fine. Why not obey the court? But I
So
personally will
if
not
if
say
if
that.
the Nigerian government cannot obey the court in releasing Kanu, why should the Nigerian people obey because the court said Tifnubu should remain? Why should
That's
we obey?
yeah,
I
that's
think
the
to be
point.
fair to the
Then
Nigerian
that is
government,
an anarchy.
the court is what is the court that is still holding Kanu, because they went to court again and stayed some of the stuff. See, governments do this all the time, especially when somebody is a national security risk. I think I don't know how to say this.
If they
I think
feel,
our
let me tell
people, we
you,
don't
if they feel
understand
that
the
Kanu,
gravity of what it means. If
if they
somebody is a
feel that
national
Kanu has
security
the
risk,
capacity to break down Nigeria, even if court, yes, the president has the capacity to hold him, which means if they feel that Kanu is a threat to national security, the president,
it's a
even if
big
court
thing.
gave judgment, you understand? So even if
Mm.
court gave judgment, if they assess it that Kanu is a threat to national security, yes, the president can use his veto power to keep him right there. You understand?
America literally created Guantanamo Bay. They had black sites. They have rendition programs where they just capture people and make you disappear. They did all these things. These are the so-called number one democracies in the world, just because they want to protect their national security.
Yeah.
Even this thing, Julian
We
Assange.
are
Yeah,
saying there's one guy right now in
Let
Russia.
me finish piece of. Let me just say this: Julian Assange was inside the embassy until they started throwing physics on the walls, and he almost lost his mind inside embassy. I think Ecuadorian this in embassy, and he's still in jail till today. Even after all that, he's still in jail. So what did he do? Because he published documents that somebody gave to him. That is
Yeah,
how
when
deadly.
it comes to national security, when it comes to national security, even in right now in Russia, you know, one of America's CIA is on the run right now. Is in Russia right now. You
Yeah.
know, yeah, because he had information that he shared with. He wrote a book about it, about this, you know, alien 15 that is all lies. You know what I'm saying? Because he was a
Mm.
CIA. America demanded that he boarded an airplane. He was going to another country. When he got to Russia, they
He
didn't allow
stopped
him
there.
to board it. Yeah, he stopped. So American embassy in Russia, they demanded that the guy should be,
What did
they
this? What did he
seized
say
his
the guy did? What did the guy reveal?
passport. You say what?
What did the guy do?
The guy wrote a book. Let me check the book. I'll check the book again. I forgot his name. It's right now. He's in Russia right now. If America
What did he say? I thought he said something about UFO or something like that. He said something about UFO.
so he's a CIA. He's a former CIA agent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he wrote a book regarding to America is propagating this alien of his stuff right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, all kind of stuff. So the guy wrote a book that it was all planned because he was also part of the he was in part of the planning process, kind of stuff like that. He saw everything that it's all lies. So that was a national security. That was information that he was not
Uh,
supposed to. You understand what I'm saying?
yeah. But what
So
did he say was the purpose of the plan then? You know?
that that they want to invade the world. then they will claim that alien is the one that invaded the whole world. Then they will not come as rescue mission. Do you understand what I'm saying?
We're getting there. Now, that is where the West is concerned. That is where the World Economic Forum is concerned.
Yeah, so they will invade the whole world. They will claim, because they're going to be taking countries down from the sky. You understand that they will call it an invasion, an alien invasion. You understand what I'm saying? Then America will not come in as rescue mission, to rescue, to fight, but they are the same set of people. You know what I'm saying? So that was the secret that the guy leaked out. Then American government said that they need the guy.
Yeah, you've gone too far now.
So if there is no truth, they will not be buying him now. If there is no truth.
You're not allowed to
right now. It's Russia that gave the guy an asylum. Russia gave the guy an asylum right now.
Yes. Oga Pisoft. Now, thank God you brought this up. So this is what I was trying to explain earlier. When
let me tell you, Madam Busy Bray, I can't discuss it with you, just so you understand that.
I know. But what I was trying to say earlier on is that this kind of when they say all these things are just talk, no evidence. We get it. It's talk, no evidence. But there are whistleblowers. And when the whistleblowers come, how were they received? How are they perceived? So when the whistleblowers have come and have said what they need to say, that is the end of the matter. Then we carry on and we say it's conspiracy theory. Now, what you've just said now, it seems so far-fetched to somebody who's looking at things in a very, very I want to say in a it's not even logical. I don't want to use it as logical, because it's not logical to just go with, you are going like a sheep to the slaughter just because they said like this, it's like that.
Yeah.
So for me, why would you always believe what they say? You as a parent, are you truthful to your own child all the time? Don't you fib from time to time for their own safety, or maybe just to get them off your back, or to change the course of conversation?
True.
What makes
true.
What makes you think that these people that claim they are for us are for us? Look at around the world. Most of the countries around the world where these people have gone to create mayhem, they've put in puppets.
Sorry, Madam Busy. So I'll give you his name. It's Edward Joseph Snowden. You can go and do a research on him.
Yes,
you see the books he wrote.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Edward Joseph Snowden. You're gonna say that.
I've heard of Snowden. I've heard of Snowden.
Yeah. So when you see
the statement that he released, and he didn't even threaten American national security, like trying to, but to them it's a national security issue.
Because these are the kind of things that
he worked in NSA now. They can't have NSA officials.
These are the things that only the top. This is why I'm now asking, who is policing those that are watching the watchers?
No, there's a certain level you ascend to. You are technically above the law, and
the Snowden, he didn't get the information because that information was not exposed. It was exposed to him accidentally. He was not supposed to know. He was not supposed to know. That is why he was able to disclose it. A lot of the times, this kind of informations that are being exposed are not exposed by people who are dealing with it, who are in the inside.
Do you know why I believed him a little bit?
A little bit.
No, understand. That's how I would say it. You understand what I'm saying? But you should understand where I'm coming from. But and do you know why I believe him a little bit? When I saw the activities going on, how they were trying to lock down almost all countries. You know what I'm saying? So
that is where if
you read his book, you will see the similarity of what he said that time. So the question will be, how is it that he was a prophet to have known that?
It was
Do you
already
understand
out
saying?
there in the
Good.
open.
So if you just think a little, you just have your mind wrap around it.
Let me explain to you. It was already out there it is out there. They've already said it. It is out there. There is a what's the name of that book? They wrote it down, but a lot of people gloss over it. But for those, just the way that people are bringing all these more bad things, people brought them out. Was saying, but they will say it's conspiracy. Now, have you heard of suddenly buy? A lot of people are suddenly buying now.
It's happening now, but people, about
you talk now, then somebody will tell you that it's conspiracy.
I have to step off now. Thank you all. I've actually learned and enjoyed the conversation. And till next time, I guess.
Yeah, today was a great day, man. I really do appreciate everybody.
Over here it's almost 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm supposed to be working in the morning. Hey God. Okay. Have a good one.
Good night.
Good night.
Great.